AFL Premiership season on radio, Sport Digital, and take us with you on the ABC Listen app. Just look for the AFL button.
Something big is coming, I know.
Sometimes football is more than just a game, and tonight is one of those occasions. It's one of the fiercest rivalries in Australian football. The stakes are high, the atmosphere is buzzing. This is Derby 59. Fremantle v West Coast live from Perth Stadium on a cold and cloudy Perth evening. It's a rivalry steeped in tradition, but the two teams meet along different paths. The Dockers, with so much to play for still, sitting in fourth as they entered round 20. A win tonight will see them finish the round in the top three. The Eagles, with less on the line in terms of season 2024, but with a chance to throw a spanner in the works of their rivals' finals hopes and remind them that despite the turmoil, they are still the big brother in the West. The last time these two sides met, it was an upset for the ages. The Eagles stunning the Dockers with a 37-point win in round 6 on a day that young superstar Harley Reid brought the crowd to life with a blistering 3-goal performance. Today, though, the crowd will be predominantly purple, with Fremantle being the host. It's Derby 59 live here on ABC Sport across Perth and WA, Sport Digital on the ABC Listen app. Mitch Turner here with you in the commentary position. Alongside me is Akash Fotodar. G'day to you, Akash.
Good evening, Mitch. Yeah, delighted to be here. Looking forward to a fantastic derby and how Fremantle respond after that round 6 ambush. And also looking forward to if a couple of milestone men can inspire West Coast to get out of this slump. So Tom Barrass, 150 games, 2018 Premiership player, gets his club life membership today. Of course, there's been a lot of speculation about his future and where he might end up after this season. But at the moment, it's a big, big milestone for him, and congratulations on 150 games for Tom Barrass. And Jake Waterman, 100 games for the Eagles as well. The first father-son to play 100 games for West Coast. We know the battles he's been through with his health last season, how much weight he lost, how much work he had to put in to get himself back into the kind of shape and form he's in now. And he's the Eagles' leading goal kicker this season, 41, and has been terrific. And I shouldn't miss out, of course, James Aish as well, playing his 100th game for Fremantle, so his 100th club game for the Dockers.
Formerly with the Lions and the Pies, James Aish. Congratulations to him. And, of course, Tom Barrass, Beresson Best, John Worsfold medalist a couple of years ago as well. It's also a special occasion in some way, in a coaching sense, with the first time both coaches in a derby have played for their sides before. Jared Schofield, of course, at the helm of the Eagles, played in 4 derbies for West Coast, but he played 12 games for Fremantle at the back end of his career, and he played in 1 derby as a Docker. Justin Longmuir, a long-time servant of the Dockers, he played in 13 derbies. He won 4, he lost 9. And it's the first time with Jared Schofield technically qualifying with his 12 games. It's the first time a former Docker has coached the Eagles in a derby. So terrific to see both of those coaches going at it today. Our experts in the box, former Eagle and Collingwood Premiership player Sharad Wellingham will be along a little later on, but with us already is former Dockers captain, someone who played in a number of derbies and wore her heart on her, well, I'll say sleeve, but it was sleeveless in the Guernsey, is Cara Antonio. G'day to you, Cara.
Thanks, Mitch. Thanks, Akash, listeners. I loved derbies. They were my favourite. Ask any of my teammates. They were always the ones that you found something extra in the tank and in the body to play with. Incredible, I suppose, spectacle here at Optus Stadium as well between these two sides. So I'm really looking forward to what we see tonight, because we know earlier in the year there was a massive upset, so you never know what can happen.
The Dockers have won 4 of their past 5 games. Now, the Eagles, well, their last win was back in round 10 against the Demons. They've lost 8 in a row. They've lost 11 of their past 12. So struggling and on a different side of the ledger, certainly to the Dockers today. It's time, though, probably now to bring in our 5th member of the team today. Bridget Lacey is down on the boundary, and she's got a special guest with her. Bridget.
Thanks, Mitch. Lucky enough to have West Coast interim coach Jared Schofield join us pre-game. Scoey, 3 games into the role. How have you found it so far?
It's been it's been exciting. I'm really enjoying it. I've noticed 3 grey hairs come through in 6 days from the Brisbane game to the St Kilda game. Maybe I just didn't notice them there, I don't know. But no, look, I've really looked forward to the opportunity, the challenge. The support of the football club's been fantastic, the players. And just get another opportunity to coach the team tonight, and hopefully we can go one better.
Now, we love that saying it's just another game, but it is a derby. As a coach, how have you approached it this week?
I don't think you have to remind the players that it's a derby. They know, obviously, what these games mean to both sides, regardless of the ladder. And when you win the last one, you dare say the other team is going to come out firing and to make sure that they can make amends from last time. And for us, it's a great opportunity for our young players to experience these type of games. They can get to the level of finals and obviously we haven't played finals for a number of years, so it's great exposure to them players, and it's great for our leaders to really embrace that. And lead our young players in what will be obviously a hard-fought game.
Now, a lot of talk about Jack Darling coming back into this team today. Will we see him down back for periods tonight?
Jeez, I didn't realise I've caused such a stir at the moment. But, look, we're going to be fluid with what we do with players. You'll see players today in different positions, as we've seen over the last few weeks. And the one thing I said to the players, when I got endorsed as the coach, was that we're about playing our roles. We're not about the numbers. Just execute your roles, and we'll give you the guidelines of what we expect from a player. And JD comes into the side. Look, we know that he can obviously do a job for us up forward. And as I've already mentioned, he'll most likely start there, but it's not to say he's going to stay there. We've seen him in the ruck as well. But like other players, they'll flick around throughout the game, and to make sure that we keep a lot of energy in the game.
Keep us guessing there. What about Caleb Strong? He's having an enormous season. Have you got any plans for him?
Yeah, we have. Like all weeks we have plans. I just got to execute them. You look at Brayshaw last week, seeing him live, he's in some really good form. His ability to get from contest to contest, he's looking really sharp. Fifey's doing a role. Who does he go to? Does he go to Harley? Does he go to Yowie? Take your pick on that one. He went to Heaney 2 weeks ago. They've got some really good players there. Young, forgot him. So that's the other one. You forget about him, but he's a quality player. So we've put some time into the players. Sarong, you can't go past it. He's probably favourite for the Brownlow at the moment. So we better make sure we don't give him 3 votes.
Beautiful. I'll send you upstairs to the team in the box for some more questions.
Scully, Cara, Antonio here. Good luck for tonight's game. Can you give us a bit of insight into your coaching philosophy and I suppose the impact you want to have on this playing group for the remainder of the season?
Well, first and foremost, I feel like I'm a firm but fair coach. I suppose all coaches are. Look, I've learned a lot over my time from Subiaco to now, being an assistant. I wouldn't say I've softened, but I've got a greater understanding of what works best in terms of how you educate and how you coach. And I think if you have strong relationships, and that's one of my key things, is I think I'm a people's person, my relationships with the playing group. I know I've been looking after the midfield for the last 2.5 years, but I'm big on making sure I get to know all the players. So relationships are strong. If I can have those firm and honest conversations, I think that's important. And also just trying to instill a bit of belief in. We play this wonderful game where everyone's got different strengths and weaknesses in their game, and it's how we bring it together. So I'm a big promoter of bringing your best version, and we're in a mistakes-based industry, so mistakes do happen. It's how you move on from that and you think about what's next. So I really encourage the players to express themselves. But at the same time, first and foremost, you've got to just honour the game. You've got to play the game the right way, and that starts with the contest. And when your time comes, you've just got to honour it.
And Jake Waterman, massive in for you guys tonight, averaging the 2 goals this year. How important is he to your setup ahead of the ball?
Yeah, very important. Look, he's having a wonderful year, and he's been battling away with the knee over the last probably 4 to 6 weeks, and it was good to give him a week off. With him up front now with Oscar, Jack Williams is obviously playing a role for us there too, and then we'll see Bailey Williams. So we want them to click. We've got to make sure we get enough supply to them. 37 inside 50s isn't enough for our forwards to work off. So we've got to make sure we get them some supply from stoppage or off turnover, and how we execute in the front half through our skill.
Scully, Akash Fodadar here.
There you go.
With Sean Darcy and Luke Jackson, you mentioned Jack and Bailey Williams. What are you expecting from the 2 young ruckmen in your side when they go up against a pairing like Sean Darcy and Luke Jackson?
Yeah, well, they're going to have to be spot on with their craft. Our ruckmen are different in their way, just like theirs are. So whether they start with Jackson, they started with Jackson last time we played at centre bounce, and then Darcy came into it. We just got to make sure we don't allow Darcy to take our space and obviously give first access to the ground level players. But I've said all along, when we talk about the rucks, is that, they're one part in the contest, in the stoppage. It's the guys at ground level to make sure that they get their craft done. They're patient. They got to understand that, with no disrespect to our ruckman, but to expect that we're going to get a lot of hit outs to advantage and be running certain plays in there, we're kidding ourselves. So we've got to make sure we honour our craft and our contests and understand that, we might have to read a bit and shark the opposition, but also once it comes into the scramble, be really strong in the scramble and win that contest.
And Tom Barras, game 150 tonight, and there's been a bit of, conjecture and speculation about his future and where it might be, but just how important is he to the group, and how important has he been over that journey, becoming a life member as well of the club tonight?
Yeah, obviously 150 games, life member. You got Jakey Wardham as well, 100 games. And I mentioned to the boys yesterday, that any milestone within a footy club should be honoured and acknowledged. And TB today, he gets to play 150. He plays on the best forwards every week. The one thing I said to the guys is, he's always got a smile on his face. Yes, he's a lateral thinker. He thinks deeply about the game and life in general, and I love that. The personalities in our game and in our footy club. But the one thing you're always going to get from TB is going to compete right to the last line, and that's what we want from him. So we just got to make sure we take a little bit of how he plays today, instill that in ourselves, and honour those two players in TB and Jake Waterman.
Speaking to West Coast Eagles interim coach Jared Schofield here on ABC Sport. Sco, Mitch Turner in the chair right now. Can I ask you, how much has your life changed since you've taken on the head coach role, doing things like this, a bit more media and other things? What's been the change and how are you enjoying it?
Well, I was just talking off there. What's changed? More of this. More of my mug in front of the lens and the camera. A bit of media, a few extra meetings here and there. And, I suppose I've really stepped up probably my responsibility as head coach to make sure that I get to each individual before week's end. So I make sure, yes, we have our line coaches, but I think it's important, and it's my coaching philosophy, my style, that relationships are important. And the one thing I'll probably notice is the time that I have to now put in to make sure I get to the 45 that are on our list, so they feel that they're valued within the footy club, and they're valued from me as a coach. Not to say they weren't before, but that they're valued in terms of where they stand within our footy club. So that's probably the real shift in terms of time management. But other than that, the football side of things, the way you study the opposition, the way you prepare, nothing's really changed. If anything, the players obviously are hearing a little bit more from me.
You said you've softened a little bit. I'm sure some of your ex-Subiaco players will be listening to that, shaking their head, thinking, he's softened now. Why couldn't he soften a little while ago? But it brought them some success. And the last time we spoke to you, Jared, you had your shoulder in a sling and you were an assistant coach. And now you look like you're moving freely and you're the head coach. How is the shoulder?
Yeah, well, it's actually ironic that the last... When I did my shoulder was when we played the Derby, back in round 6. Yeah, so look, I've just got out of the sling 2 weeks ago, so I was 6 weeks in the sling. Just got out 2 weeks ago, and still doing some rehab. So I'm in with the boys doing rehab, and bit of pain along the way, but a bit of laughter along the way as well. The boys have really taken the mickey out of me too.
It's good to hear. Can I ask you one more thing? The message from the board and from the administration at the club, how much focus is on being competitive and winning in this last month of the year compared to developing the players on the list and seeing what you've got from some of these younger players?
Well, the message has been the same all year. We want to continue to get better. Yes, we're in that period of exploring our list, and we want to give guys opportunities as long as they warrant that. Just watch Zane True just run out now. He's one of them. He's in his third game in a row, and that's the one thing. We want to give him the opportunity to perform. So that's probably been the message. But also, we want to continue to get better. Yeah, we want to win, but we want to be consistent in what we do. We want to compete every week. And we dipped last week, and it's been the story of our year. When we've been away, we've dropped off, and when we're at home, we're up and about. And tonight's going to be a great challenge for us because we don't have 50,000 West Coast Eagles fans supporting us, but we're on our home deck. So it'll be a great opportunity to silence the Purple Army.
Yeah, hoping you can have this role next year.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. As I said, I'm focusing on week to week. I'm in a position where I get an opportunity to help us get better. and sort of layering a little bit of my philosophy and my expectation over this remaining 6 weeks. Just looking forward to it, and but I'm enjoying it. It's good to be back in the seat as a head coach, and it's been a while, but really enjoying it.
We appreciate your time. Good luck today.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
West Coast Eagles interim coach Jared Schofield down there with Bridget Lacey on the boundary. We're about 22 minutes away from bounce down here for Derby 59. We'll check in with the Dockers very, very shortly, but wandering into the box to join Cara Antonio in the experts chair is former Eagle, former Collingwood Premiership player Sharad Wellingham. Welcome to you, Shaz. Quick break from Sports Talk this morning.
Good afternoon, team.
Derbies, memories, how did you feel about them? How did you play in, Shaz, in the end?
I think 5 from research just previously done by Cash.
Derby memories? As a player, growing up, you obviously watched a lot of them.
Growing up, I remember loving sitting at home and getting stuck into a pie and watching the footy and, usually coming away with the win, which was good. Memories as a player were kind of up and down. I think that we went through a stage where we were really strong in derbies, and then I think in about 15, 16, Fremantle were really strong through the derbies. So a little bit of back and forth there, but yeah, it's a fun game. You definitely get more up and about, and I think I said it during Sports Talk during the week. I wish the clubs gave it a bit more clout and kind of tried to build it up a little bit more instead of the straight bat stuff. And
the showdown, they got
to build it up. Like, get some real. Doesn't have to be demolition derby stuff. Like, as spectators now, we're not expecting that, but we want to have a bit of insight into the actual feeling going into the game, not just another game. Like, because it's clearly not.
You played in Anzac Day games, Queen's Birthday, those big blockbusters at the MCG. How does the Derby compare to those big games that you played for Collingwood?
They're different. I think my memories of like those really big occasions at the Pies were more so around like the historical side of it, and not so much like going out and wanting to beat like the Essendon players or the Carlton players. It was really just about the club. Whereas Derby, like, I really wanted to beat the Freo players. Like, it felt a lot more personal for some reason, because it's just the two of us in this town, and it was a little bit more spite and the bragging rights were a bit bigger. Whereas you're going up against Essendon players, it kind of just got lost in the whole week. And the occasion, I think, was bigger. Like Anzac Day, the occasion's bigger, but it's more so about the clubs than the persons that you're going up against.
100%, because when AFLW came, obviously Fremantle were the first club in Western Australia, and then a couple of years later the Eagles came on board, and a number of, I think we lost 8 to 10 players up the road. So there was a lot of spice in that first one.
Too, some senior players.
Yeah, very much so.
Hello, Dana Hooker.
Yeah, it was. There was a bit of spice, a bit of banter. It was very enjoyable.
Did you feel like, because it's different in the AFL, certainly the Eagles will always be the big brother because they've been here a lot longer, they've had a lot more success. But in the AFLW, as you mentioned, Fremantle came first and had played some good football by the time the Eagles came in. Did you feel like the big sister?
Absolutely, and we did not want to lose to the little
have
sister.
Not lost yet.
No, not yet. So hopefully that trend continues this year.
Bridget Lacey has wandered across to the Fremantle camp and is joined down there by another special guest. Bridget.
Thanks, Mitch. Lucky enough to have Executive General Manager of Football for the Fremantle Dockers, Joe Bridie. Joe, before I get to today's game, I do want to ask you about the skipper, Alex Pearce. He's had surgery on that broken arm. Can you tell us how it went and what the prognosis is from here?
Yeah, look, he's actually down in the change rooms right now. So, he's pulled up really well. A bit of a larger plate this time round with the additional fracture. And at this point in time, we expect somewhere in the vicinity of 4 to 6 weeks. So it's something we'll have to monitor pretty closely. He can't do too much for the first couple of weeks, and then he'll get up and going. And, hopefully all things going well, we'll get another X-ray done on it, probably around the 4-week mark, and just see how it's going. And that would give us a good read of his availability.
Will he have a game day role over the coming weeks, given he can't play? Yeah,
look, he wants to stay really close to the group. He's obviously our leader, and the way he's gone about it this year, he's been so powerful on and off the field. So, he'll stay around the coach's box and the playing group, and he'll travel with the team over the coming weeks.
And Michael Walters, unfortunately, an out for today. How's he looking in terms of when he might be able to return?
Yeah, a bit of an unusual one. It's happened sometime during the game last weekend, and he kicked 4 goals. So, look, he's pulled up pretty well after the initial program this week. Kind of got up to 70% high speed, which normally means things are tracking pretty well. So we're expecting somewhere in the vicinity of 2 to 3 weeks. Same leg that the previous hammy was on, a little bit higher. So yeah, look, he's tracking well, and he'll be really diligent over the next few weeks and make sure he's available for the back end of the home and away season.
Fingers crossed. I'll send you upstairs for some more questions from the box.
Hey Joey, Cara here. Good luck
Juddy.
for tonight. Just on reflection of the season so far, has there been a game that stood out to you that you've been able to identify that maybe you've let the rest of the competition know what the Fremantle Dockers can do in season 2024?
Yeah, look, it's a hard one picking out. Obviously, the win over against Sydney was probably where we had a more consistent footy. It's something we're still striving for as a group, that maturity we're chasing and the consistency across 4 quarters. We've probably had, across the majority of games this year, we've probably fallen away about 10-minute period or maybe a quarter here or there, and a couple of games we really haven't put our 4 quarters together. So, look, it's something that we're really chasing in the back end of the season. Felt like for last weekend against Melbourne, we had 3 really good quarters and the third let us down. So, hopefully tonight, look, from a consistency point of view and making sure we get back to our DNA in the contest and our team defence, and that fuels most of our games. So, continue to chase it, and the group are pretty driven.
And we know derbies are always massive games in this state, no matter where either team, I suppose, is positioned on the ground, on the ladder. Is this just another game in your eyes, or is there a little bit extra added to tonight's game?
Look, there's always a bit in derbies across the board, that's for sure. Look, we lowered our colours early in the year. We really weren't pleased the way we went about it, and we'll beat convincingly around, again, contest and clearance. So that's where the game's going to start tonight. We want to have a really strong showing in that space across all aspects of the ground. So look, I'm looking forward to a really strong performance from the boys, but we've got to respect West Coast. They've obviously got an experienced team in, and when they get their contest right, it fuels the rest of their game. So it's I'm sure it's going to be on from the first bounce.
Joe, Sharrod here. Good luck for this evening's game. Mate, what's been the focus during the week in terms of ball movement? Because I think last week was probably the biggest tick from our point of view up here. It was very impressive.
Yeah, look, it's an interesting one. We probably think that our ball movement has actually fueled more of our contest than Team D. It seems to be when we can get those things right, getting our hands on the ball in tight, that obviously allows us to access our shape. And then obviously from a ball movement perspective, the players you've got in the team, when you look at Walks and Clarkey and Wags coming off half back, and Youngie through the midfield with Caleb and Andy and Nat and even Sharpie on a wing, the talent of those players, if we can get it right around the contest, it fuels the way they want to play. So it's probably making sure we get that aspect right, and then everyone playing in their roles and playing in shape makes sure that we can get those opportunities in the forward half. And then we've had some consistency with our front 7, which has been great. Probably in the first 7 rounds we didn't really get much consistency with those boys, with Freddie and Sturdy not being there at times and Switter missing games, but it's been great to have probably those 7 say some consistent footy together. Banners will go up to a wing, and Tommy Emmett comes back into the team and gets his chance. We know that he'll bring his physicality and contest to tonight's game. And I know it's a while ago now, but the previous derby obviously left a sour taste in the club's mouth. What's been made of it, and what needs to be fixed from last time? Yeah, look, as I touched on, it was probably something that we were really disappointed with the way we played, convincingly beaten over 4 quarters. So look, that's where it starts tonight. As I said earlier, it's really about our consistency across the entire game, making sure we can stop what fuels West Coast game. Obviously, from a clearance and stoppage perspective, they've got some players inside that can really control field position, and if they get the ball in their forward half for long enough, they're a really dangerous team. So owning field position, make sure we turn the ball over as quick as we can in our front half is going to be really important. And then again, as I mentioned, the clearance battle, I think it's going to be an exciting one to watch. Bit of a change of angle here, but we spoke to JG this morning and he said he'd be willing to take the call for the head job role up the road here. Will he get a nice endorsement from you guys, or are you not going to let him go? I don't think you can stop anyone from becoming a senior coach, but look, the calibre of the person, he's a quality person, and the calibre of the coach, and he's had a significant journey so far as an assistant. So from our perspective, we'd always obviously set him on his way if that opportunity arose, but we know at this point in time he's really invested in what we're doing. He plays a really important role for us, and we know that he's got a job with the purple colours today.
Hey Joe, a catch up here. With Michael Walters not playing, how important and what are the roles for Michael Frederick and Sam Switkowski? They didn't play in the previous derby, and you did mention, turning the ball over in forward half. How important are they to what you try and achieve tonight?
Yeah, look, not just tonight, across the season, they're really important to the way we play. Forward half pressure, obviously both highly skilled players, their ability to get up the ground and get back really quickly. Switter plays a vital role for us around the contest, and even just his speed and his agility inside at different times is really important, and their ability to finish off their work going into the forward 50 and getting to the feet of those big fellas is vital. So, look, they'll obviously play their role tonight, but vitally important to the way we go about it. When you look at Tommy Emmett coming back into the team, he'll play a similar role to Sonny. And we know that he'll bring that contest and physicality in the way he has early in the year. And his forward half pressure, I mentioned earlier, it's going to be really important. We turn the ball over and lock it in our forward half. So he's got a vital role to play tonight.
Speaking to General Manager of Football at the Fremantle Dockers, Joe Bridie, here on ABC Sport. Joe, it must be nice to have the side stay in Perth for a couple of weeks. How important is this fortnight period just to get a bit of travel away from the boys and to stay in their own homes and stay, here at Perth Stadium?
Yeah, spot on. Look, it's obviously a great opportunity in the back end of the season. It's a long season, a fair bit of travel across the year, and different places we've been going to. We've gone to Alice and Tassie in recent weeks, so to get a couple of weeks in front of our home fans. I think we didn't get to play in front of the Purple Army for about a month there. So yeah, loving the fact that we've been able to stay in Perth, and strong performance last weekend, and repeat that tonight will be the plan.
And can I ask as well, it's been a big few, I guess 18 months, 2 years, 3 years for concussion in the AFL, but it's been a really big fortnight with some of the incidents that have happened around the league. The AFL have now come out and said that all GMs of football will be notified in real time that players need to come from the ground for a HIA assessment for a head knock. You often sit down around the action. Are you comfortable with the AFL making that decision? Do you think it'll take the game forward in that space?
Yeah, look, hopefully it doesn't change too much in terms of the diligence of our medical staff. I think it's just another layer for the AFL to ensure that the policies and procedures are being adhered to, and obviously the GMs overseeing the football department can make sure that accountability is occurring. It'll only be when there's mandatory assessments required. So if the ARC requires a player to have a mandatory assessment, it's really a check-in through the GMs to make sure that our doctors are proceeding with that in due course. So, yeah, look, it's another process in place, and we don't have that many occur across the season. So, but if it's required, that's fine from our end.
Hopefully it's all smooth sailing tonight. Really appreciate your time, Joe, and good luck for the game.
No worries. Thanks, everyone.
General Manager of Football from the Fremantle Dockers, Joe Bridie, downstairs with Bridget Lacey. The two sides have just run through the banners here for Derby 59. The Dockers banner reading, it's the Derby, maintain the rage to fight for a spot on the back page. A little swipe at the Eagles coverage in the local media here. And for the Eagles, 150 for Tom and 100 for Jake. Crack in this Derby for TB and Snake for Tom Barrass and Jake Waterman, celebrating their milestones tonight. Tom Barrass taking his two kids through the banner for the Dockers. Andrew Brayshaw will captain them tonight in the absence of Alex Pearce. He and Caleb Sarong have been sharing the duties and rotating during Alex Pearce's absences. Before we get a bit more analysis on the game, just the changes to the teams, if you have missed it. For the Dockers, Josh Draper and Tom Emmett are into the side. Alex Pearce and Michael Walters have gone out, both through injury. For the Eagles, Jake Waterman, Jack Darling and Elliot Yeo return. Out, Alex Witherden, Jermaine Jones and Campbell Chesser. Jeremy McGovern was originally named in the side, however he was withdrawn yesterday, and Jack Petrocelli returned to the lineup. Over at the MCG, the Demons are taking on the Giants at the moment. It's the Melbourne Demons leading by 27 points, 35-8 in the dying stages of the first quarter there at the MCG. We'll keep you updated with that score. Earlier today, Geelong defeated North Melbourne by 40 points. Brisbane defeated Gold Coast by 28 points, and St Kilda defeated Essendon by 53 points. Sharad Wellingham, Cara Antonio. Some big questions today in terms of looking at how this match will play out. We spoke to Jared Schofield about some of those changes. Were you surprised to see Jack Darling, Cara and Sharad named in the side this week? They've gone quite tall in the forward line.
I'm very surprised. I think that by all reports did his job in his game for the West Coast Waffle side, but didn't set the house on fire. And you know, I think we said this morning on air, his forward 50 pressure can be really handy, but the jack that we've seen isn't that jack that provides that consistency. Like if he does that today, incredible. It's a good result having brought him in, but I just question whether he's going to be able to engage at that intensity that's needed. Hey.
Yeah, it's a good question. The only reason maybe behind it is obviously Pearce going out. They needed an extra tall, experienced, solid player. He kicked 2 last time in round 6 against the Dockers. So, yeah, I don't know who else would you have brought in, Shaz, if it wasn't Darling.
Did you have to bring in a tall?
Yeah.
You've got Oscar Allen, Jake Waterman is back. Jack Williams is playing some decent football. They're very tall. Hutchinson.
He's really tall too, Hutchinson. So, Marek as well. He's tall.
But they're trying to stretch the back line of the Dockers.
Yeah, but didn't we did ask Scully where he would play, and he was a bit hesitant to mention. So who knows? They could have a few tricks up their sleeve tonight, the Eagles.
He will start forward, but let's see where he ends up. Who knows where he ends up, said Jared Schofield. I have a sneaky suspicion he knows exactly where he'll end up, being the one in charge of the Magnets. We talk about the forward line, the back line, the matchups there are integral to today, but the midfield battle is going to be key, isn't it?
The big one for me today, I think, is going to be inside 50 efficiency. I think they're going to get it in there however many times. I don't think it's going to be a huge amount because I think Fremantle will win the clearance battle. I think that they'll just take the chocolates when it comes to the clearances, probably off the back of their ruck dominance. The actual mids and rovers will, I think, match up pretty well. But I think it'll be the big thing will be efficiency going inside forward 50. So if they get it in there and make the most of those opportunities, then it has the potential to keeping the match close. But if it goes in, fuels Fremantle's run and carry and their game style that, you know, like I said before, been really impressed with the way they're moving the ball. If they don't be efficient with their inside 50s or manage to score from their inside 50s regularly, they're going to just get blown away.
And I reckon it starts at the source as well. We mentioned last week the Dockers absolutely dominating clearance in particular. Obviously the hit-outs, not having a ruckman with Melbourne, but that was their score source. They dominated clearance, were able to chain the ball out by hand. They're the number 1 or number 2 handballing team in the comp, the Dockers. And again, so efficient inside forward 50. It was probably the best that we had seen, and we made comment on that, Shaz, last week. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see the work that goes into maybe a Sarong or a Brayshaw from the Eagles, because they're going to have to. They're going to have to do something.
You're going to look at last week's game, and you're going to be. You're not really going to be able to take too much from it because it was just complete dominance from Melbourne not having a ruck. So you kind of go, yep, they got first hands, but then they weren't able to provide any structure to quell like the clearance result. Like I thought that what Melbourne did the week before against Essendon was great in the way that they structured, but they didn't do anything. So you look at the way Freo, this is West Coast's point of view, looking at Fremantle last week, like it's hard because they were just so dominant. It's like, oh, okay, well, obviously we've got to try and get some hit-outs. We've got to try and get some clearances.
No Jeremy McGovern down back for the Eagles, which is, of course, is a massive out. Looking at the Dockers forward line, incredibly potent at the moment. Jai Amos, Josh Tracy, Luke Jackson rotating through there. How do you think the Eagles will match up with them? Who will get each matchup? Like, who goes to Josh Tracy? Who goes to Jai Amos? You've got Harry Edwards down there for the Eagles. You've got Tom Barris in game 150. And then players of the like of Josh Rotham and co. Who do you think matches up well with each player for the Eagles? It's a tough one.
It's a really tough one. I think that what they'll probably do is have a little bit of a rotation because Tracy's so good at getting up the ground now and offering those link-up options, presenting even like he's hitting the wing and taking marks up on the wing. Tommy Barras, super fit, but doesn't quite have the tank to kind of go and follow someone like Tracy. So he might hand him off as he goes up the ground. So I'll imagine envisage, I should say, Tommy Barrath playing a deeper role on whoever's deepest. And I think we'll probably see that being Amos most of the time.
Yep.
So who goes up with Tracy? It's tough because,
Or at the other end, Cara. I mean, the Dockers know Alex Pearce, Waterman, Allen, Darling, Williams looking to stretch their back line. An indication of where you think they'll match up there and who will be the one staying closest to home for the Dockers?
Oh, it's a hard one. I mean, Luke Ryan obviously wants to play off a little bit, so I don't reckon he'll have a specific matchup per se, but Draper coming in potentially. We've seen him in his interceptability in the air. And then Cox has been impressive of late, and even Chapman. So I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. It'll be really interesting, but one that we'll probably have to have a look at before the bounce.
The toss of the coin has just taken place in the middle. The cash voted are?
Yeah, Tom Barras tossing the coin for West Coast in his 150th game, and Andrew Brayshaw continues his run of losing the toss when he stood in as skipper for Fremantle, and Tom Barras has decided West Coast will kick to the Graham Farmer Freeway end, or the left of our broadcast position, to start the game.
The conditions downstairs at ground level and the starting benches, Bridget Lacey.
Yeah, it's beautiful conditions down here, 17 degrees, no real breeze to speak of, and it has been dry today, but I think the surface will be a watch. It'll be dewy underfoot for the players. The crowd's still filing in, but we do expect plenty of purple in the crowd tonight, and I'm just noticing Harley Reid's arms glistening under the lights tonight. He's got a fair bit of oil on just to help him shake those tackles a little bit more. The starting benches for Fremantle, Fife, Emmett, Wagner and Banfield. The tactical sub, James Aish, and for West Coast, Kelly, Cole, Williams, Hutchinson, and the sub for the Eagles is Jai Cully.
Players starting to take their positions on the field ahead of what is a big clash tonight. It's Derby 59 here at Perth Stadium, live Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. It's all to play for the Dockers. They're chasing a top 3 spot. The Eagles, bragging rights and pride. Mitch Turner alongside Sharad Wellingham, Cara Antonio, and a cash voted are for the opening bounce.
And we're all set here for Derby 59. Bailey Williams and Sean Darcy stare each other down in the ruck. Nice bounce from the umpire. Darcy flips it over his head to Sarong, screws it off the outside of the boot, up towards left half forward. Jinby couldn't gather and players dive in after it. It is slippery out there. Yo now bursts away with it for West Coast. Along the southern wing, he kicks the Eagles inside 50, but he kicks it straight down the throat of Brennan Cox for Fremantle, and he has it in the left back pocket for the Dockers. And there is an Eagle player down in the middle of the ground as well. As
Zane
Cox
True
kicks
down on the ground from the centre clearance. Zane True still down.
He's in trouble here.
Yeah, there are doctors and all around him, and now the umpire has called for the ball. He was going to stop play, so Sam Switkowski had taken the mark for Fremantle at centre half back, but play has stopped with a lot of West Coast medical staff around Zane True in the middle of the ground.
Oh, friendly fire.
Friendly fire. Bailey J. Williams, bicep. Bicep to the... almost even a little bit of hip may have got him there, which may explain why he was down for a bit longer. That's a hard hit. Zane True's just copped right on the mouth, nose area.
He's back on his feet now, Zane True, and walking off under his own steam with a couple of the medicos. So that is a positive sign for West Coast fans out there, but definitely looking a little bit groggy, Zane True.
And just with the matchup, Draper to Darling, Cox to Allen and Ryan to Waterman to start.
So when play resumes, Sam Switkowski will have the ball for Fremantle at centre half back, just inside his defensive 50.
Zane True makes his way from the field, and play is back underway here. The Derby 59, Switkowski swings it wide to Ryan, takes a run outside half-back looking for Jackson up the line. Good strong mark under pressure from Barras getting back. They have dragged Barras up the field here. Marks it right on centre wing. 2 subs tonight, Jai Cully, the sub for the Eagles, James Aish for the Dockers, as Jackson kicks up towards half forward, no one flying but the Eagles. And Harry Edwards takes a good strong intercept mark, moves it quickly by hand to the run of Jinby. Ran into a little bit of trouble under pressure from Amos. High up and under kick. Cox did well to sit himself under the ball and receive the free kick as the pressure came from Darling and Barras. Chopping of the arms. A free kick paid to Cox. Has the ball right in front of the interchange gates. Kicks long towards half-board. Big pack flies. Amos couldn't take the mark over the top. It spills to ground level for the Dockers. Brayshaw kicks it inside the forward 50. Coming out was Sturt. Couldn't mark. Ball hits the ground. Jimby's in there for the Eagles. Taps it away. Sturt dives back in. Under pressure from Hoff. He's on top of him. He wraps him up and it'll be a ball up inside the Dockers forward 50. 3 minutes played in the opening term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
In the right forward pocket for Fremantle, Darcy and Williams tangle. Jinby gets first hands to it, handballs off to Yo. He just slams it out of trouble, wants Darling. Cox punches it away from him, back towards right half forward. Young first there for the Dockers, knocks it back towards O'Meara, but the ball trickles out of bounds for a throw-in. So 3.5 minutes played here, Derby 59, Saturday night footy on ABC Sport, and we are still scoreless. Ball in the attacking half for Fremantle. We've already seen an early injury with Zane True walking off the field after a bit of friendly fire in a collision with Bailey Williams. Darcy front position in the ruck battle, but Ham knocks it straight down to Reid, who fends off one, tries to fend off O'Meara, manages to get through the tackle and handball to Edwards. Edwards kick up the line, up the wing, looking for Darling, but Brennan Cox takes the mark in front position.
Jager O'Meara just giving Harley Reid a little shove at the end of that play. Cox has ball in hand. Ball goes back in that direction. Barris jumped under the ball. Got a little shove from Jackson. We'll get a free kick. Harley Reid, the right shoulder strapped up tonight.
Noticed that pre-game as well. So obviously something that's occurred in training perhaps.
Has the ball in his hands now. Deep in defence. He gets the boos from the Freo crowd. That's what the Derby's all about. He spears a kick to the reigning Glendinning Allen medalist Elliot Yeo. Takes it on the back edge of the centre square. It's a wobbling kick up towards half forward. Cox dropping back. Was able to take the mark. Got a good block from Ryan. Held Allen away from it. A dangerous kick from Cox though. Into the middle of the ground. Yeo takes the intercept. Takes the bounce. Runs to 55. Kicks on goal and Ryan gets back on the last line of defence. Takes the mark and the Dockers are able to move the ball away.
Ryan to Draper in the back pocket. Goes further up the line and finds Chapman at left half back. Chapman looks inboard. Nothing he likes, so he'll kick up the southern wing. Pressured by Ryan. The ball is smothered. And great forward pressure from Liam Ryan. Sees the ball out for a boundary throw-in at right half forward from West Coast.
Some great turnover football already occurring through the game. And Elliot Yeo's taken his own footy out there. He's got 5 disposals. Started very well.
Darcy muscles Williams out of it, knocks it down to Younger, kicks up the southern wing. Over the head of Edwards and Tracy. Tracy first to it on ground level, kicks inside forward 50. Jackson leading Barris in the race back towards goal. Barris worries Jackson out of it, and the ball does make its way over the boundary line in the left forward pocket for a throw-in.
Pressure certainly up from the Eagles to start this game. We'll get down to Bridget Lacey shortly. See if there's an update on Zane True and what his condition is down at ground level. Ball spun back in by the umpire. Darcy and Williams go at it. Williams got a hand to it. Young, though, sharked it for the Dockers. Gave it off to Sarong. Under pressure from Reid. Had to give the handball back to Young. Hard up against the boundary line. Centering ball. Jimby spoiled it. Straight, though, into the path of Brayshaw. Runs in, drills the goal. And the Dockers have the opener in Derby 59. Brayshaw gets the first. It's come 6 minutes into the first term. And the Dockers strike first blood here on Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport. Mitch Turner alongside Akash Bodar, our experts at Cara Antonio and Sharad Wellingham.
Well, we're seeing a pretty high intensity game so far, which is it's a great start from both sides in terms of intensity. And Brayshaw just sweating really intelligently on a forward 50. Well, it wasn't even a turnover, just a haphazard kick, and got into a really good position, hit the contest, and clean pick up straight through the middle. Great start from Brayshaw. It's a bit of an odd start.
Bridget Lacey downstairs quickly.
Yeah, Zane True's been in discussions with the doctors. He looks really distressed, and it looks like he's about to go down to the rooms, possibly to get a head injury assessment.
So not great news for West Coast early, and Fremantle have struck first in Derby 59. From the centre bounce, Elliot Yeo earns himself a free kick in the centre square. Hoff wraps around the back for the handball receive. Just wobbles the kick to centre half forward. Cripps does well to trap it. Clark tackles him immediately. Now the pack forms around him. but the umpire decides he didn't have prior opportunity and he will ball it up at centre half forward for the West Coast Eagles, kicking towards the Graham Farmer Freeway end of the ground. 8 minutes into the derby, it's the Dockers by a goal. Reid at the back of the stoppage cannot get through the Fife tackle, and the two-time Brownlow medalist makes sure the youngster has to earn that one as he tackles him strongly to the ground.
Might have remembered that hip and shoulder that the young man got in with earlier in the year.
Ball up, attacking edge of the centre square, favouring the Eagles. Comes down, players crash in. No one can say clean possession. Bottom of the pack, fighting for it. For the Dockers is Nat Fife, as he's getting a little tangle with Elliot Yeo, but a push and shove off the ball as well. Plenty of feeling in this game early. Ball tossed up. Darcy grabs it out of the ruck. Couldn't get a clean possession. Marek able to take it away for the Eagles. Got it to Cripps. Over the top to Ryan. Runs to 35. Shoots on goal and makes it count. He runs to the crowd. He flexes for the Dockers faithful. And the Eagles strike back with their first through the boot of Liam Ryan. 1 straight 6, the Dockers. 1 straight 6, the Eagles. We've played almost 9 minutes in the first term here, Perth Stadium, Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
I think that was Jordan Clark that came off his player. Probably needed to just cover off there. Ball leapfrogged and got Liam Ryan out the back. Nice little finish. He told the crowd as well, this is a good game to start.
It's a great start, and it's the effort and intensity from both sides in and around the contest, and it's pretty square.
It is.
A high-energy start to this Western Derby at a packed Perth Stadium. 1 goal apiece, 1 straight 6 Fremantle, 1 straight 6 West Coast. 9.5 minutes played in the first. Williams jumps over Darcy, gets it down to Reid. He's tackled by Young and tackled strongly into the turf. I don't think there's going to be too many easy kicks for Harley Reid out there tonight. The Rucks tussle up again. Williams with a hand to it, but it's Fife from the clearance. Handball straight to Hunt. He's dumped into the turf by Brayshaw. Now the numbers pile in on top of him. That ball doesn't look like it's going to come out. Young does extract it, but straight to West Coast. Jinby with the kick now up towards half forward. Darling in a one-on-one with Chapman. Chapman does well to spoil it towards the boundary. Hutchinson pushes Wagner off it. Darling back into it, tackled strongly by Chapman, who wrenches the ball off him, and there's a bit of afters in that as well. The umpire calls for a ball up, left half forward for the Eagles.
It's just a normal game, though, they say. It's just worth 4 points. I'm not sure the players
got the memo
at all during the week. There is a fair bit of feeling and physicality in this one early. The restart goes over the boundary line for a throw-in between wing and half forward for the Eagles. Score's still locked at 1 straight 6 apiece. Darcy and Williams wrestle as the ball gets spun in. Ball ricochets off Sean Darcy's shoulder, fell to Reid, was able to get it away to a teammate. Petrocelli now for the Eagles, tumbles one inside the forward 50. Williams gathered it well, gave it to Cripps. Snap on goal is bending and banging into the woodwork. It's a minus score, but it gives the Eagles their first lead of the night. 1-1-7. They lead Fremantle 1 straight 6, 11 minutes played.
It'll be Luke Ryan in the bright pink boots to bring the ball back in for the Dockers.
Strange matchup at the moment with Edwards in deepest position on Amos.
West Coast have won it back here at half forward. It's Petrocelli. Kicks them back deep inside 50. Ryan and Waterman wrestle. Waterman got front position, couldn't mark. And Darling and Wagner escort the ball out of bounds next to the left behind post. West Coast leading by 1 point, 1-1-7 to Fremantle, 1 straight 6, 11.5 minutes played. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Boundary umpire stands right next to the behind post, spins the ball back in. Williams taps it down, looking for Reid, overran it, so too did Fife. Kelly came through with his clean, gave it to Darling. He tried to burst through a tackle, was dispossessed by Jager O'Meara. Fremantle win possession back deep in defence. O'Meara's kick is a dangerous one, was looking for Ryan on the switch. It was knocked away by Williams. Waterman gathers, he handballs it off to Williams. Little step inside, kick towards the top of the square. Cripps comes out, gathers, snaps, goals! The Eagles have come to play. And they lead the Dockers by 7. 2-1-13 West Coast. 1 straight 6 the Dockers. We've played 12 minutes and Jamie Cripps puts his name on the score sheet.
bit of candy out on the boundary line as well from, was it Williams?
Williams, yep.
Great bit of play, but it's the intensity, the ability for them to be able to get that turnover off the O'Meara attempt at switching it out, and then, flat-footed Fife in the defensive 50. You got to go at the ball, and you see Cripps steam past him and just get it straight on the boot. But that Williams bit of candy in the left hand around 3 Fremantle players, but there is definitely a bit of intensity from West Coast so far, isn't there?
Work rate and energy for me from the Eagles players, really up high.
After that fancy footwork, Jack Williams is now into the middle of the ground in the ruck, up against Jackson, who jumps over the top, taps it to his own advantage. Young on hands and knees, gets it to Fife, tumbles it end over end inside the forward 50. Sturt first to it, pressure from Cole, wraps the ball up, traps it in, and the umpire will toss it up right on the paint of 50 at centre half forward for Fremantle. They kick the opening goal of the game through Andrew Brayshaw, but West Coast have hit back with 2 in a row themselves and lead by 7. Jackson flips it over his head back to Sarong. His kick inside 50, though, is marked by Jaden Hunt for the Eagles. Hunt has it in the left back pocket, kicks over the top of Petruccelli. He's taken out as well by Tracy. Meanwhile, the Eagles can escape defensive 50 through Marek. Kicks up the wing and finds Darling on true centre wing, broadcast side of the ground. Darling wants an option deeper, can't find anything. Gives it by hand to Reid, who now kicks to a leading Waterman, who has it at left half forward. Waterman wants to wheel and go. Just got boot to ball in time. Pressure from Banfield. Allen rises high. Punched away from him by Cox. Cole out after it for the Eagles. Still inside attacking 50. Handballs off to Hoff. Hoff steadies, looks for an option deep. Clark and Ryan mess it up. Cripps gathers the rebound. He's tackled, though, by Luke Ryan. And the umpire's going to have to ball it up in the right forward pocket for West Coast. They maintain their 7-point lead. 2-1-13 to 1 straight 6.
Zane True still off the ground for the Eagles. Head clash in that opening bounce. Ball tossed up. Jackson tapped it down to O'Meara. Gave the handball to Fife. Caught by Kelly. Incorrect disposal. Kelly wrapped him up. He went for the handball. He threw it away. And now there's a bit of push and shove on. Jackson and Williams going at it. Fife comes in. So too some of the young Eagles. There's a little bit of push and shove just away from the main bit of play here. Umpire comes in to settle it down. Sharad Wellingham, the memories are flooding back. But Tim Kelly will go back, set shot from about 35 metres out, very tight angle to the right, to give the Eagles 3 goals in a row. He pumps both fists. Is this another Eagles ambush in the Derby? They've kicked 3 in a row. 3-1-19 West Coast. Fremantle 1 straight 6. It's a 13-point margin. 15 minutes played. Bridget Lacey down on the boundary.
It looks like the tests for Zane True have not gone down in the rooms because Jai Cully is about to enter the game, so the substitute being made very early by the Eagles.
Loving the heat in this game. Really good. The Eagles have come to play.
You know what I liked about that? They all went in there and backed up each other's, team, but they didn't get a turnover. So they did it in a way that didn't result in a turnover. So really good intensity and fight from both sides. And it just feels like West Coast have a touch more intensity around the contest, which is resulting in some inside 50s.
So the Eagles, in an away derby, in their away yellow, have a 13-point lead, 16 and a half minutes into this game. Sarong to Brayshaw, to Fife, kicks up towards right half forward. Switkowski and Hunt, a couple of speedsters chase the ball, but neither of them can keep it in play, and the ball will be thrown in at right half forward for Fremantle. Jackson and Jack Williams. The secondary rucks, they wrap up. Jackson wins the tap down. Kelly gets there for West Coast. Switkowski just wrenches it from his arms. Now Fife comes through. Quick hands to Sarong. He handballs inside 50 into the path of Brayshaw. Tries to break a tackle. Gets it off to Jackson. He's gang tackled by a couple of Eagles. Cole picks up the crumbs and snaps it out of defensive 50. Hutchinson first to it. Couldn't take the mark on the chest. Wagner gathers for the Dockers and pumps them back inside forward 50. Tracy gets into the front position, but a good, strong mark taken at the back there by Harry Edwards for the Eagles, who chips across into the right back pocket where he finds Hunt.
Hunt moves it pretty quickly, has a man out over the top. That was Rotham, had to slide to take the mark. Was able to gather, goes back, has another short target. Brayshaw was there to cut it off, knocks it away from Hoff. Gathered, kicks it back inside the forward 50, flying from the side. Tracy can't mark. Amos gathers, gives it to Frederick, runs into an open goal. And Fremantle get one back. Frederick gets his first. And this is a seesawing affair here in the first quarter of Derby 59. The margin back to 7 points. The Dockers 2 straight 12. They trail the Eagles 3-1-19. 18 minutes played before we get the thoughts of our experts, Cara Antonio and Sharad Wellingham. Bridget Lacey down to the boundary with an update.
Yeah, confirmation from West Coast that Zane Drew is out of the game with a neck issue. I did notice when he was on the bench talking to the doctors, he was grabbing a lot at his neck. So the confirmation there that he's been subbed out with a neck. And Jack Petruccelli was just testing himself out here on the bench after that contest with Josh Tracy a little earlier. He looks okay to continue.
Well, it's a seesawing effect, but it's like the pressure resulting in turnovers, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Brayshaw, great little bit of read on the play and intercept, turnover.
Jai Cully, the sub for West Coast, is onto the ground and into the middle, but it's the Dockers with the clearance through Sarong. His left foot kick is intercepted by Hunt. Defensive edge of the centre square. Hunt goes short, finds Cole. Runs past, wanting the handball received. Cole decides against it, chips into the middle of the ground to Jinby. Still defensive half of the ground for the Eagles. Jinby plays on, wheels around on the left. Kicks it low and hard inside forward 50. Darling up in front, spoiled away by Ryan. Clark first to it for Fremantle. Handballs out in the path of Fife. Does well, gathers. Handballs over the top to Sharp. Sharp now to Draper. Manages to break a tackle but runs himself into a bit of trouble. Got the handball away. Sharp continues to run and offers an outlet. He kicks now up towards half forward. Emmett stands strong and takes a good mark. Crunched by Barris. Gives it off to Brayshaw. Brayshaw inside 50 and Amos takes the mark. On the lead, Jai Amos is marked 35 metres out on a 45-degree angle to the left. And Fremantle slingshot it all the way from half back and managed to hit up their spearhead inside forward 50.
Nut Fife for me, working really hard back to support his backliners. Obviously not as quick as he used to be, but just really slick with the hands and his ability to get his teammates out into space. Really started that from deep inside D50.
Jai Amos kicked 4 last week, comes in, it's high, but it's nice and straight from the Dockers sharpshooter. And they hit back with 2 in a row of their own. Their third for the match, and the margin is back to just 1 point. Fremantle 3 straight 18, West Coast 3-1-19. 20 minutes played here, Derby 59, Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
It sounds silly, but it feels like a derby, doesn't
Oh,
it?
yeah,
It does.
absolutely.
The
It's
intensity
frantic
is up,
footy.
and West Coast jumped them in round 6, but there's a feel about this tonight that it's got a bit of the derby feel of old.
It certainly does. It certainly does. There's something in the air, and you know they're getting under each other's skins. They're niggling each other. It's all the little things that you're seeing out here tonight. It's great to see. I asked for it pre-game. I was like, bring some emotion back into the derby, and we're seeing it. It's great, and it's making for a better game of football.
Playing in his 4th derby, Jai Amos was knocked out in the opening minutes of the derby in round 6. Ball back in the middle. Yo gathered on hands and knees. Got it out in front of Cully. Had a fresh area, the sub. Darcy went and gathered for the Dockers. Handball was good to Wagner. Now off to the run of Sharp again. Running through centre wing on the outer side. Kicks up towards Emmett, who flew high. Couldn't take the mark. Oh, would have been a terrific grab. Ball spills down. West Coast win it back. Barris. Game 150. High up and under to the wing. In front, Cully couldn't mark under pressure from Sarong. Rotham roved it well. Gave it to Luke Edwards. Back to Cully. Now to Yo. Handball off to Cole along the boundary line. His kick a little hot for Hutchinson. Cox comes up to meet it for the Dockers. Handball inside. Brayshaw able to gather. Dangerous kick into the middle. Hunt knocks it away from Sarong. Walker came out to meet it. Broke a tackle. Claimed in the second. Umpire called play on. Crimps run down by Brayshaw. Allen able to get it. Misses the target with the handball. Cox knocks it out to Clark, back to Wagner. The Dockers still inside defensive 50, but he clears and finds Frederick on the wing.
Frederick passes up the line for Amos, knocked away from him by Edwards, but the umpire's going to bring it back. Free kick, high contact there from Harry Edwards on Jai Amos. Amos doesn't realise the free kick is his, went to run inside forward 50, comes back and he has the ball now. No one on the mark, so Amos can have a free run of it if he wants. Standing still in front of the interchange gates, decides to handball to Chapman. Gets around Allen, but forced to kick on his left inside 50, and Bailey Williams takes the mark for West Coast in front of Sean Darcy. A left half back for the Eagles. They still have a 1-point lead, 3-1-19 to 3 straight 18. 23 minutes played. Here's Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport. Tom Barris, the 150 gamer, from fullback, goes short to Brady Hoff. West Coast still inside their defensive 50, just slowing the tempo. Hoff short once more. Cole now has it. Fremantle fans don't believe that was the 15 metres required. Cole kicks just beyond defensive 50. Jaden Hunt with the ball, hard up against the line, left half back. Back inboard now to Rotham.
Something we haven't seen from West Coast over the last couple of months is this retaining of the ball. So, interesting change of coach, and just see Jack Darling coming up and taking a nice chest mark.
Darling with the ball, defensive side of the wing, goes short now to Petrocelli. Front of the interchange gates, Jack Petrocelli. He goes short to Elliot Yeo. Still at halfway, the Eagles, northern side of the ground. Yeo takes his time as well, decides to effect a switch of play and goes across to Cole, defensive edge of the centre square. He effects the switch right out to the far side of the ground, and Barris has the ball. Probably further from his defensive goal square than he's used to being. Barris goes short, finds Waterman. Right half forward. Another short pass at the feet of Cripps. Gathers and snaps the ball inside forward 50 now for West Coast. Allen in front position. Ball at the ground. Sarong to Darcy. Ryan sweeps a handball out now to Banfield. He wanted his left foot and he couldn't find it. Good pressure from Petrocelli. Sees the ball knocked out of play in the left forward pocket for West Coast.
Did Reid just
spoil Oscar Allen?
I think so.
Might get a little message from the skipper to say,
stay down in my 50.
It's got a couple of nice grabs in that round 6 derby. Did Harley Reid, holds some Glendinning Allen medal votes. Ball spun back in. Darcy Williams go at it. Ball ricochets off legs, comes out to Wagner. Good tackle by Cully, takes him to ground. There'll be another ball up inside the Eagles attacking 50. Jamie Cripps just a little sore off the back of the pack. Already kicked a goal in derby number 20. Sarong off this restart. Terrific roving off the pack. Kicks it out to the wing. Frederick flies. Can't mark. Emmett's there at ground level, wrestling with Hutchinson, who can win the ball. Well done to the Eagle. Hutchinson did well, won the ball, got it to Edwards and got it back. Terrific run, gives it to Kelly on the wing. Now to Harley Reid, accelerates, takes a bounce, was almost run down by Frederick, was able to get the kick inside the forward 50. Petrocelli couldn't mark, accidentally collects Darcy, who was coming out to get it, slipped and fell, and he's given away the free kick. Petrocelli, no malice in it, but accidentally collects him with a hip. Sean Darcy with a free kick, kicks it up the wing. Jackson flew, could have marked. Hutchinson again at ground level, did well. Broke a tackle, got the handball to Hunt. The Eagles go inside the forward 50. Big pack flies, no mark taken. Allen at ground level, handball's over the top. Cripps is lurking, so too Waterman. Neither can gather. Chapman did well for the Dockers, spun out of traffic. Now the ball's with Clark. Running outside defensive 50, gives it to Chapman. The kick over the top, looking for Jackson. Harry Edwards gets back and takes the mark.
Sorry, Sean Darcy copped another knock. I reckon he's got to come off.
Yeah.
They've got to assess him.
Darcy doesn't look in a good way. He's at full back for Fremantle. West Coast have the ball at centre half back at the city end of the ground.
He's grabbing at his wrist, yeah.
Looks very, very sore, Sean Darcy. Sure, Bridget Lacey will keep an eye on that, while Ruben Jinby has the ball running across half back for West Coast. Switches back to the northern side of the ground now to Cole. Cole wider still to Hunt. And Hunt comes wider again to Jack Williams, marking right in front of the benches here, right in front of our broadcast position. Williams short up the line. Liam Ryan has the ball. Sean Darcy slowly walking towards the interchange gates alongside a Fremantle Medico.
Umpires have just stopped play to allow the Medicos to take Sean Darcy off. Jamie Cripps
making his way to the bench.
So there's plenty of bruised and battered bodies early in this derby. It's been a contest with plenty of feeling. A contest which West Coast lead by one behind, 3-1-19 to 3 straight 18. And Ryan Marrick sends them inside forward 50 now. Ryan spoils it down. Jackson spins out of trouble, but he's run down and tackled by Allen. Umpire calls play on. It falls to Cully, the sub. He snaps on goal and it's there. I think the umpire paid holding the ball. Cully took the advantage, and from 40 metres out, he snaps through West Coast fourth. They extend their lead to 7 points. And once again, another melee breaks out at centre-half forward for West Coast.
Sarong and Cully.
Oh, no, yeah. Cully went straight to him after he kicked the goal and gave him a good shove.
It's hard to know what to keep your eyes on.
Just build on pressure again, wasn't it? Really? Forward 50 pressure.
Let's quickly head downstairs. Bridget Lacey.
Sean Darcy straight down to the rooms with the doctor, and Jamie Cripps is chatting to the doctor on the West Coast bench as well.
And that's setting the tone as well. Oscar Allen, one of the captains. That's what you want from your skipper. Inside forward 50, turnover goal.
This is a derby.
He's thrown his
replay, Sharon.
See that?
And the melee there.
Well, it's not like his head butted him, but he's rested his head on Cully.
Ball back in the middle, comes away to 5, handball over the top to Luke Jackson. Left foot kick is a grubber towards Tracy, can't quite gather cleanly. Ball ricochets off him, the Eagles have it back. Yo kicks it out the southern wing, looking for a target in Williams. Terrific grab by the young man out in front. Turns, has the lead from Waterman, who presents and takes the mark. 60 from home, tied up against the boundary line. Oscar Allen's leading, calling. Waterman ignores him initially, now goes to the captain and he laces him out.
Great patience and, connection between Waterman and Oscar Allen there was great.
Terrific kick from Waterman, finds Allen about 30 to 35 metres out. Tight angle to the right.
Well, I mentioned before he set the tone, he created that turnover in the last goal. He deserves one himself.
Didn't play in round 6. He's the leader of this football club. Oscar Allen's set shot is magnificent. The Eagles have 5. 5-1-31 West Coast. 3 straight 18 Fremantle. It's a 13-point margin, late stages of the opening term. Mitch Turner alongside Akash Fodder, our experts here in the box for ABC Sport. Sharad Wellingham and Cara Antonio. Bridget Lacey, though, down to the boundary quickly.
Jamie Cripps has gone down to the rooms as well. He's just nursing that right arm as he ran down.
Well, I said it pre-game, efficiency going inside 50, and to be honest, both sides are doing well, but West Coast are really making the most of it when it goes in there at the moment. They've had their 13 entries and scoring at 46% of the time, which is really, really high number.
Approaching quarter time, and I think everyone will be looking to take a breath here at Perth Stadium. It's been a hectic start to Derby 59. Back in the middle, Jackson with the tap, but Kelly sharks it. Handballs into space, runs on to his own ball. Gathers handballs back now to Reid. Reid goes for a run, but Switkowski runs him down. Umpire says play on. Marrick comes in off the wing, collects and is tackled by Young. And the umpire will ball it up. Attacking side of the centre circles for the Eagles. Maintain a 13-point lead. Jackson taps to Switkowski, flicks it over the shoulder, but only as far as Hunt. Hunt is run down from behind by Sturt. Great pressure from the Fremantle forward, and he earns himself a free kick at centre-half back for the Dockers.
Harley Reid trying to give the ball to Andrew Brayshaw there, and Andrew Brayshaw
should have taken it.
Didn't take the ball. Would have been a 50-metre penalty to the Dockers. So it was Sturt's free kick.
Odd.
Draper has the ball at right half back. Kicks it up the boundary line, looking for a target. Tracy flew from 4 deep, couldn't take the mark. Young roves it, seconds ticking down. The Dockers go back inside the forward 50. Cole v Sarong, one-on-one. Sarong just shoves Cole over the line. It'll be a boundary throw in 45 metres around from goal. Bridget Lacey downstairs.
Sean Darcy's back on the bench and no sign of movement with the Fremantle sub, so it looks like good news.
Sean Darcy that concern with the wrist hand area. We'll keep you updated. Ball spun back into play off the restart. Players coming through. There's been a hold called. It's going Fremantle's way. And it's going to Hayden Young. So Young will take the set shot after the siren. He'll kick from about 45 metres out. Slightly worse than a 45-degree angle to the right. And the Dockers trailing by 13. This is an important kick. Hayden Young has become so important for the Dockers this season. The kick on goal, not his best effort. Fails to make the distance, fails to score. So no change to the margin. Quarter time here at Perth Stadium. The Eagles 5-1-31 lead the Dockers 3 straight 18. They've jumped them again here in Derby 59. The goal kickers for both sides, all singles. Andrew Brayshaw kicked the opening goal of the game. Jay Amos and Michael Frederick were singles for Fremantle as well. For the Eagles, though, Liam Ryan, Tim Kelly, Oscar Allen, Jamie Cripps and Jai Cully, all with singles as well. Plenty more action to come here for Derby 59. The Eagles leading by 13 points. It's Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Looking for an easy way to find out what's happening in the world of sport? Stay up to date with the week's best sports stories, highlights and analysis with the ABC Sport newsletter.
Oh, that is amazing!
It's sports content to make you think or allow you not to. Delivered to your inbox every Saturday.
Game, set, bingo!
To sign up and get the latest sports news each week, head to abc.net.au/connect, scroll down and select ABC Sport. This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Ball tossed up. Darcy grabs it out of the ruck. Couldn't get a clean possession. Marek able to take it away for the Eagles. Got it to Cripps. Over the top to Ryan. Runs to 35. Shoots on goal and makes it count. Waterman gathers. He handballs it off to Williams. Little step inside. Kick towards the top of the square. Cripps comes out. Gathers. Snaps. Goals. The Eagles have come to play and they lead the Dockers by 7.
Loving the heat in this game. Really good. The Eagles have come to play.
Brayshaw was there to cut it off. Knocks it away from Hoff. Gathered. Kicks it back inside the forward 50. Flying from the side. Tracy can't mark. Amos gathers. Gives it to Frederick. Runs into an open goal. And Fremantle get one back.
Jai Amos comes in. It's high, but it's nice and straight from the Dockers sharpshooter. And they hit back with 2 in a row of their own. Their third for the match, and the margin is back to just 1 point.
Didn't play in round 6. He's the leader of this football club. Oscar Allen's set shot is magnificent. The Eagles have 5.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
The underdogs coming in today, the West Coast Eagles, will have jumped their rivals, the Dockers, here in Derby 59. 5-1-31, they lead the Dockers 3 straight 18. It's a 13-point margin. Mitch Turner here alongside Akash Fodadar for the Saturday night footy on ABC Sport, Derby 59. Our experts, former Eagle, former Collingwood Premiership player, Sharad Wellingham, former Dockers captain and All-Australian, Cara Antonio.
What a game so far.
Great start.
Yeah, the energy's up, intent. Both teams have come to play. And I reckon we're in for a real treat tonight. It'll be the team, I reckon, that can maintain the pressure, but also capitalise on turnover when pressure is applied and hit the scoreboard and be efficient going inside forward 50. Like, just looking at the stats, uncontested possession, the Eagles are up 30 plus 32 plus 22 in marks, and we know that the Dockers, they're second in the comp for uncontested possession. So we know they like to work on the outside, but at the moment I feel like they're being outworked by the Eagles across the ground, inside the contest to out, which is why we're seeing the score like we're seeing.
Yeah, I'm a little bit I'm a little bit nervous to say that the intensity will stay at this level. I feel like Fremantle were kind of, like you said, they were coasting through that quarter.
Yep.
Still beat them on the clearances. Stoppage goals. West Coast were able to produce 2 stoppage goals, but I feel like Fremantle were just going they were almost sitting at a lower rev. You know what I mean? They were just kind of cruising through the quarter, and still West Coast weren't able to really punish them. So I feel like Fremantle lift their work rate and get up to the same level. They're going to really take it up to West Coast's intensity. But by all means, if West Coast are able to continue to play at the intensity that they displayed then, it's going to be tough for Fremantle to click it up a gear.
100%.
So, it's interesting at the moment.
Their highest scoring first quarter of the season, the Eagles, kicking 5-1. It was 4-1 to 0-3 at quarter time back in round 6. Before we get back underway, just the score from the other ground over at the MCG. Melbourne 6-7-43 lead the Giants 6-4-40 at half time. And for our WA fans, the Fever went down in the preliminary final of the Vixens 72 goals to 73. A cash voted with some of the numbers here at Perth Stadium.
Yeah, some of the individual numbers, Mitch. Elliot Yeo, the leading disposal winner on the ground with 10. Tom Cole has 9. Harley Reid and Tim Kelly 8 apiece for West Coast. And for the home side, Fremantle, Caleb Sarong, their leading ball winner with 9 disposals. Andy Brayshaw, the stand-in captain, has 7. Hayden Young and Nat Fyfe with 6 apiece.
Sharon, you just look a little concerned that Sean Darcy's back on the field already. Bridget Lacey quickly downstairs.
Jamie Cripps has re-emerged from the rooms for West Coast, but he's starting this quarter on the bench, so I'll keep an eye on him.
Sean Darcy in the middle of the ground. Sharon, a little confusing.
I'm
so
a
he got
bit
2 head
confused.
knocks.
2 really big head knocks too. But I mean, they've obviously taken him off and had a look at him, but I'd be very interested to see what the protocols were and what processes got ticked off, because he's back out there, and you take a big head knock like that, every caution should be taken.
In the middle of the ground right now for the second quarter is Darcy v. Williams. Ball comes the way of the Dockers. Yo going back onto it is taken high by Brayshaw. He'll get a free kick right on the paint at centre half back as Ruben Jimby just gives a little love tap to Caleb Sarong. Reid coming from behind, received the handball, gave it to Jimby, back towards Reid, able to step around Emmett. Now kicks a long ball. It's a player who's gone down off the field. Yo, off the play, that is.
Bring it back.
This is a disadvantage.
Well, it is. Harley Reid sent the ball to centre half forward. Elliot Yo was taken down right next to him, and the ball's been brought back. So Yo with the free kick switches the play to the broadcast swing. Jack Williams kicks it up towards Liam Ryan. Dockers win it back. Banfield's little chip over the top for Draper, setting the task. It's Walker. Walker's over the top of the ball. 2 Eagles over the top of him.
It's done very well there, Walker. 2v1, managed to halve the whole situation. Nicely done.
Still has the cornrows in, Brandon Walker. Could be disappointed his buddy Josh Draper's got rid of them now. Has the afro going as ball's back underway from the restart. Switkowski taken to ground underneath a Kelly and Yo tackle. So have a restart again. He lost his boot, Sam Switkowski, so
Harley Reid just trying to kick his boot away as well.
He's got a
I think he's just moving it out of the stoppage.
Pausing for the moment. Ball tossed up. Darcy punches it straight in the air. Fyfe couldn't gather originally. Did eventually. Handball back into play. Straight to Reid. Tackled by Switkowski. Kick goes up the line as players fly for the ball at centre half forward. Cox and Clark were there for the Dockers at half back. Clark ends up with it. Now feeds it back to Brayshaw. His handball further defensively to Draper. A dangerous one to Heath Chapman. 20 out from his own goal. He's caught. He costs the kick up. Straight to Petruccelli. Snaps around the body and he kicks it. And the Eagles get in the faces of the Dockers. They're stamping their authority on this game. Petruccelli kicks the goal. The Eagles margin, their lead out to 19 points. 6-1-37 the Eagles. 3 straight 18 the Dockers. 2 minutes played here in the second term. I got distracted for a moment. So there was a bit going on between Harley Reid and Switkowski, and I was just concerned Harley Reid may have done a bit of a stomp.
No, I think he tried to step over him.
We'll have to see the replay, but the Eagles forcing another turnover.
And it was Oscar Allen again, forward 50 pressure. Captain setting the example, as you said, Car.
They've had 3 tackles to the 0 inside forward 50, the Eagles, so really setting the tone in that domain.
Didn't have any last week.
There you go. They've started strong.
Wonder what the focus was during the week.
West Coast lead by 19. Back in the middle, Williams and Darcy. Williams rises high, slaps it forward, runs onto his own ball, taps it onto Reid, pushes away from Fife, runs out to the broadcast side of the ground and sends the Eagles inside 50. Clark front position, couldn't mark, ball fell to Edwards. That's Luke Edwards of the Eagles. He's tackled high by Sean Darcy and earns himself a free kick. Low pass, inside 50. Darling wasn't aware it was coming. He manages to knock the ball away from Walker, gather on the rebound, dribbles towards goal. But Brennan Cox, like a soccer goalkeeper, dives across and knocks the ball over the behind line. And West Coast just register the one behind. 6-2-38. They lead Fremantle by 20 points. 3 straight 18. 3.5 minutes played. Derby 59, Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Ryan kicks it long from the restart. Big pack flies. No one can mark. Coming through was Edwards for the Eagles. Taking the ground immediately. Ball up. Just between wing and half forward for West Coast. They lead by 20 points. Darcy taps it down from the ruck. It ricochets off a couple of hands. Eventually Sarong is able to get it to 5. Now it's back with Sarong. Handballs to Emmett. Running through the middle of Perth Stadium. The kick was good to Amos. Was blindsided. Couldn't take the mark. He gathers now those spins. Kicks it to Tracy. Took the mark under the pressure from Edwards. Josh Tracy will go back, have the set shot about 25 metres out, slight angle to the left.
Good passage of play there from Fremantle.
Super smooth clearance, wasn't it? Just
really good.
Slick. As soon as they got out to front, had 2 on the offensive side of that stoppage and were just able to transition so easily.
The way the momentum is going, it's really in the Eagles' favour. The Dockers need this steadier. Tracy kicks on goal and sprays it. It's a minus score. It's the first blemish for the Dockers tonight. 3-1-19 Fremantle, 6-2-38 West Coast, 19-point margin. 5 minutes played in the second term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
That was very nearly a turnover from the kick in on Tommy Cole.
Put it very high for Brady Hoff, but the youngster was able to take it. Outstretched hands in the right back pocket. Kicks towards right half back. Wanted Barris. O'Meara got in front. Gave it to Brayshaw. Handballs wider to Darcy. The pressure from Barris affects the kick. Comes off the outside of the boot. Luckily for Fremantle, Caleb Sarong gets a hand to it and manages to ensure that it's just a boundary throw in and not out of bounds on the full at left half forward for the Dockers. The umpire unfurls and spins it back in. Darcy just gets rid of Bailey Williams. Reid on ground level, just hacks it out of the stoppage. Knocks it 20 metres forward for West Coast. Walker and Ryan. Ryan worries Walker out of it and the ball goes over the boundary once more. Bridget Lacey downstairs.
Yeah, you were talking about Sean Darcy before. Fremantle confirmed he just had a shoulder stinger and he's fine, so no concussion issue there.
Okay.
If that decision was made by Sean himself.
Looked like he had a couple of head knocks as the ball's spun back in. Williams and Darcy go at it. Ball falls towards Brayshaw. Tried to sock it off the ground, couldn't. Reid dives on top of it, is caught. And that's holding the ball. As Brayshaw just shoves him to the ground, and now Cully comes in and remonstrates with Brayshaw. This crowd is up and about.
They certainly are.
Banfield has the free kick. There's a kick and a half from home. Eagles flooding numbers back. There's a free kick off the ball. It's going against Nat Fife for high contact on Jai Cully in the middle of the 50, well off the ball. We'll wait to see the replay, but it's a reversal, so Harley Reid, after being caught holding the ball, will actually end up with the ball.
He was scared he actually gave a 50 to Harley Reid.
Wasn't he?
Boos ring out as the young gun from the Eagles just safely chips it laterally to Jaden Hunt. The Eagles have it just backward of centre wing.
Hunt assesses his options, goes for a bit of a run and sends it long and high up the wing. Bailey Williams in front position ahead of Darcy, takes the mark. Looks inboard immediately. That's a nice kick. Finds Brady Hoff at centre half forward. Hoff wheels and goes straight away looking for Waterman in the pocket. Ryan had an opportunity to fly. Didn't get as high as we normally see from Liam Ryan, and the ball comes off hands from the pack and out for a throw-in the right forward pocket for West Coast.
They kind of split the pack a bit, didn't he? Didn't really elevate to get into position to take the mark. He just went through the contest.
West Coast lead by 19 points. 8 minutes played in the second term of Derby 59. Williams and Darcy ball at the front of the contest. Young just thrown out of it. Darcy picks it up. Handballs forward out in front of Clark. Ball comes to Fife, who just hacks a kick out of there. Jackson in front of Barris, who tackles him strongly into the ground. Good follow-up from Jordan Clark. Now he's tackled by 3 Eagles. And he might have earned himself a free kick here, or will the umpire sort it out with the ball up? He's going to ball it up. Good follow-up work there from Jordan Clark. The ball's still at right half forward for the Eagles. Darcy wins the tap, wanted O'Meara, but it's pinched from him by Kelly. Handballs off to Ryan, wanted Marrick, but gives it straight back to Darcy for the Dockers. O'Meara now with the clearing inside-out torpedo to the wing, and it's marked on the chest by Jackson.
Jackson has a runner coming past. It's Sarong. Disposal number 12 for him. The short kick misses Young. O'Meara, though, was able to go back and get it. Got it back to Young. Arches the back. Runs away from an opponent. Kicks it inside the forward 50. Frederick! Floating back across the pack. Took a brilliant mark. Got a little bit of protection from Tracy. He'll go back. Directly in front. A 50-metre penalty has been given as well. Not 100% sure what for. I think it's a bit of dissent from Harry Edwards. Michael Frederick marched to the goal line, slams it through, and becomes the first multiple goal scorer of the night. He has 2. Freo have 4. They cut the margin back to 13 points. 9.5 played here, Saturday night footy on ABC Sports. 6-2-38 the Eagles, 4-1-25 the Dockers. Cara Antonio and Sharon Wellingham.
Well done, Hayden Young. Drove the legs, missed that first mark from the Sarong kick, but followed up, backed his leg speed in, and well done, Josh Tracy. Nice, sneaky, cheeky little block there. Grounded his opponent and allowed Frederick to take that grab. Really nice. I suppose individual role player effort there from Tracy.
Stoppages, I think, are starting to become an issue for West Coast. Fremantle really getting dominant and in an offensive side.
Goal apiece in this second quarter, back to the quarter-time margin of 13 points in favour of the Eagles. Darcy won the hit out, surged Freo forward by about 20 metres. Another ball up, and Darcy just takes it out of the ruck, tries to break through the tackle. Ball spills though to Reid for the Eagles, takes the bounce, handballs forward now to Cripps. Cripps can send West Coast inside 50. Waterman caught at the back, but the kick is perfectly weighted, and it lands in the hands of West Coast leading goal kicker this season, Jake Waterman, in game 100. Will kick on goal from directly in front, 25 metres out.
It was a little bit of a confusing pattern that Jake Waterman was actually giving the guys up the ground with the ball, pointing backwards, pointing back towards the kicker, pointing towards the goal, but the kick just placed perfectly by Cripps to clear the Fremantle defender.
Jake Waterman, for his first goal in game 100, makes the umpire do a little bit of work, but he puts it through. And the milestone man has his first. West Coast have their 7th, and they make the margin back out to 19 points.
A really great
just
kick,
watching
wasn't
the replay.
it?
Yeah, just watching the replay, and I was mentioning that I was a bit concerned about the offensive side for Fremantle becoming the offensive side of the stoppage, becoming a little bit of a worry. But just then we saw West Coast able to extract the ball through their defensive side. So, you know,
that's her 3rd goal for the game too from stoppage, and that just was Harley Reid.
Dare I say Harley Reid is having a massive impact on this
14
game.
touches already.
6 clearances.
6 clearances, yeah.
Ball back in the middle. Harley Reid stands alongside Hayden Young. He's over the ball. Couldn't quite take clean possession. Fife soccers it away. Yo overran it. Fife goes back in. So did Yo. Young eventually did well. Got it to Fife. Now to Sarong. Kick inside the forward 50. Barris punches away from Jackson. Amos gets the crumb. Handball to Switkowski was too hot. Had to go back and get it. There's players diving in. Ball on the paint of the forward 50 for the Dockers. It'll be a ball up. Terrific effort from Tom Barris to get the fist in there. Ball back underway. Ricochets away from the contest. Clark in there for the Dockers. Now Sarong Clever little underground handball to Young. On his right boot, the kick too low for Jackson. Tackled by Barris. Said he didn't have it. Umpire called play on. Sturt got it to Sharp. Now Chapman, 55 from home. Lowers the eyes. Sees something he likes in the forward 50. And O'Meara gets a little bit of a tackle after he takes the mark. The umpire lets cooler heads prevail. And Jager O'Meara will go back, set shot. 45 out, almost directly in front.
Clean, fast ball movement then from Fremantle, and Chapman lowering the eyes and, just putting it into a dangerous spot. Almost lured O'Meara into it, didn't he?
Absolutely. I don't mind the umpires putting the whistle away for a couple of these calls. It's letting the game flow. It's really nice.
It's normally a very good set shot, Jager O'Meara. He's directly in front. Makes beautiful contact. The umpire does a little shimmy, but it's through the big sticks. Jager O'Meara gets his first. Fremantle again hit back. They get their fifth. 5-1-31 the Dockers, 7-2-44 the Eagles. The margin just floating between that 13 to 19 point area. We've played 14 minutes here in the second term. Shad Wellingham, Cara Antonio, the game still just teetering on a knife's edge.
It certainly is, isn't it? And all the stats are pretty level. To get a reflection of where the dominance is really hard at the moment. Possessions is pretty even. West Coast just in front, but Fremantle's efficiency, kicking efficiency is a reflection. It's really low, and I think it's a reflection of the West Coast pressure at the moment. But clearances, just going the way of Fremantle. But it's really even, isn't it?
It is. It's a really even contest, and it's, again, West Coast, is, every time they hit the scoreboard, it silenced the crowd, and the crowd's getting involved when Fremantle's scoring. So it's a great, very exciting game of footy.
West Coast by 13 points after a goal apiece for the number 2 in each side. And West Coast with the clearance now. Hutchinson couldn't take the mark. Knocked away from him by Wagner. Clark does well to pick up below the knees. Now O'Meara through the middle of the ground. Handballs to Brayshaw. Takes the bounce. Gives it back to O'Meara. Fremantle flowing through the middle of Perth Stadium. O'Meara pumps it long. Tracy in position A. Barris does well. Frederick rides. Frederick snaps. And Frederick misses to the left-hand side. So a blemish on the scoreboard for Fremantle there. They're now 5-32, trailing by 12 points. Bridget Lacey downstairs.
Amos has come to the bench with the blood coming from the back of his head. They're just touching it up now.
The kick in from Rotham was well marked by Sharp. So the Dockers win it back immediately. Goes short to Brayshaw. Just beyond right half forward. Sharp gives him a little lead short. Chooses to ignore it. Kicks it to the hot spot. Bodies fly. No one can take the mark. Banfield tries to tap it to his advantage. Him and Hutchinson go sliding for the ball, and Hutchinson crashes in to the behind post, but the ball goes out of bounds. He's okay, thankfully. Jager O'Meara having a pretty good quarter here for the Dockers. Ball spun back in. Jackson to the front. Tapped it into the corridor. Was looking for Switkowski. Cole, though, read it best. His clearing kick is taken by Walker on the bounce. Handball to Draper. Now Wagner for the Dockers. Back to Walker. Steadies himself up. Kicks back towards the hot spot. Jackson flies. Eagles got a fist in. Falls out to side defensive 50 from a tumbling kick from Cole. Ball's bouncing out in front once again of Hutchinson, and ricochets off his hands, goes out of bounds for a boundary throw in right below our commentary position. He does a mountain of work, Jack Hutchinson.
Huge work rate.
The Eagles lead by 12 points. 17 minutes played in the second. Derby 59 here on ABC Sport.
Jackson and Jack Williams in the ruck. Williams nudges Jackson out of it. O'Meara crashes in, but crashes straight into Jack Williams, and the umpire will ball it up. Left half forward for Fremantle, trailing by 12 points here in the second quarter of Derby 59. Jackson and Williams wrestle again. O'Meara sharks it from the stoppage, comes now to Banfield, handballs out wide, wanting Young, but the ball runs away from him and runs out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. So 3 stoppages within a little 10-metre box at left half forward for Fremantle. Players set up for the boundary throw-in. The umpire unfurls. Bailey Williams now back in the ruck, gets front position, double palms it down to his feet, and the ball rolls straight back out over the boundary line from where it was just tossed back in.
Number 4.
Number 4. We'll see if Mitch Turner can sort this one out.
I'll do my best. Williams and Jackson. A little wrestle goes on. Williams gets to the front position. Tapped it. Brayshaw came through with a boot. Missed it. Players crashing in. Will the ball come out? Young's in there. Reed just bowls Jackson over. Did it legally, said the umpire. Yo eventually clears it. Kicks it up towards Cox and Allen. Cox did well at ground level. Outpointed the Eagles captain. Got the handball inside. Suo Mira did well to straighten up. Found Brayshaw on the AFL logo on centre wing. His kick inside the forward 50s towards Barris. And bounces away. The 150 gamer goes out of bounds. So the ball will be tossed in 40 metres around from the Dockers goal. Shots of Michael Walters watching from the stands. That hamstring injury will keep him out for around a month. Back underway, ball spun back in. Darcy tapped it pretty far. Tapped it all the way to Tracy. Oh, Cole was brilliant. Snapped the ball off the big Fremantle forward's boot. The Dockers win it back though. Darcy, handball to Switkowski. Curls one around his body. Barris going back. As reliable as ever. The premiership player, fairest and best winner. The 150 gamer. Terrific mark under pressure. The Eagles have it on the last line of defence, still leading by 12.
Barris goes across to the left back pocket and Jinby. The long left foot kick out to the lead of Waterman. That was a lovely pass from Jinby. Waterman takes the mark at left half back. Comes inboard now with a short kick to Cole. Still at left half back for West Coast.
Doesn't Jinby use the ball so much better coming off half back than...
Certainly does. Game in front of him is definitely a preference for Jinby.
Cole went back to Waterman, so he has it where he just did a moment ago at left half back. Decides to kick up that southern wing. Yo has it knocked away from him. Kelly out after it for West Coast. Gives it back to Yo. Yo kicks the Eagles in 50. Allen has 2 to beat. Knocked away from him by Cox. Cripps and Ryan at his feet. Ryan gathers. Sells some candy. Gets tackled just as he got boot to ball. And Fremantle have a chance now to clear from defence. It's Bailey Banford with a long raking left foot kick out towards Frederick. Cole manages to get the fist in. And the umpire scored a free kick for front-on contact, advantage to Fremantle. Fife has it now at centre-half forward. He's got Tracy one out. Emmett getting back too. Tracy front position, nudged out of it by Hoff. Emmett can't gather. Hoff on hands and knees. Gets it up to Hunt. Tracy lays the tackle. Ball comes back to Emmett. And Emmett runs in to the open goal. Terrific work by Josh Tracy and Tom Emmett. They just hustled and harassed until they got the football back. And Tom Emmett gets the reward for the hard work. Puts through number 6 for Fremantle. They are 6-2-38 to West Coast 7-2-44. Saturday night footy here on ABC Sport. Your experts, Premiership player Sharad Wellingham, All-Australian Cara Antonio.
That's just desperation there, wasn't it, from both?
It was a great 2-on-2, wasn't it?
Oh, it was, yeah.
Initially, my thought was it was a great contest on Hoff on Tracy, who's just a beast at the moment. But then the backup of Tracy to lay that tackle inside the forward 50 on Hunt, it was just...
All 4 of them just to stay involved. That was fantastic. I mean...
that tackle from Tracy, just watching the replay, massive.
How good. It was lucky because Fife should have gone longer and he kicked it to an advantage where it allowed the defender to spoil. So... really good.
Don't
really
think he had the distance in the leg, Nat Fife.
Needed to drive more, take more grass.
Wanted Tracy to come back, but probably the 2 most desperate forwards in the Dockers side. Ball back in the middle. Sarong takes it away from the clearance, gives it to Brayshaw. Kick out in front of Tracy, trying to track the bouncing ball. The boundary line beats him. There'll be a ball up inside. Fremantle's attacking 50. Kick the last 2 goals, the Dockers. Margin was 13 at quarter time. It's back to 6 the way of the Eagles. The crowd certainly involved. Ball spun back in. Williams took it out of the ruck. Young buried him into the turf. We'll have another restart. Right on the paint at right half forward for the Dockers. Williams trying to work Darcy out of the way. Young coming through. Tapped it to Brayshaw. Immediately tackled. Ball comes free. 3 Eagles dive on top of the Fremantle captain today. He's had 15 touches. Andrew Brayshaw. Caleb Strong's had 15. This is a blood rule.
Young coming off under the blood rule.
Just above the left eye.
Yep. or just below, maybe on the top of the cheek there for Hayden Young. As he comes from the ground, Jai Amos is back out there. He's got his head strapped up after he went off with the blood rule. He's getting a warm applause from the Dockers crowd, is Hayden Young. 10 disposals today, 6 clearances. The ball will restart. Right half forward for the Dockers. Tossed in the air. Williams tapped it down. Sharked by Sharp. Gave it to Brayshaw of the Dockers. His handball to Wagner was too hot and he was buried into the turf. Strong tackle by Elliot Yeo. And the ball will be tossed up again.
Darcy wins it down. Luke Edwards can't gather cleanly for West Coast. Hunt goes in low, manages to get a handball out. Back to Edwards. Flicks it forward to Yeo. Yeo sends West Coast up towards left half forward. Allen gathers on the bounce. Runs around Cox. Kicks wanting Waterman, but he got turned around, and Luke Ryan saving the day, as he often does for Fremantle in front position. Takes the mark in the right back pocket. Ryan will stick to the southern side of the ground. Kicks wanting Darcy in front position. Couldn't take the mark. Ball spills to the back. Edwards kicks the Eagles forward. Liam Ryan! Just hung in the air. Amazing how he gets that level of hang time, and at full stretch plucks it out of the night sky, and he can go back and kick on goal from 40 metres out directly in front.
Nice grab.
You bang on. The Air Jordan hang.
He just floats.
Stays up there for that little bit extra. Perfectly timed mark.
Liam Ryan. He's got one already tonight. Boot to ball from 35. Easy as you like. Gives a little signal to the crowd. And it's 2 tonight for Liam Ryan. He puts West Coast back out by 12 points. They're 8-2-50, leading Fremantle 6-2-38. 25th minute of the second term. Derby 59. Here's Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
He just read it so well. Like, he marks that. Yeah.
It does help when you can jump 4 feet in the air and hang there.
Again, another goal to the Eagles. Like, just when you think Fremantle are getting a bit of momentum back, the Eagles go down the other end and hit the scoreboard. So it's...
And just cork it for a second.
Yeah, it's...
Silence the crowd for a second. But Harry Edwards playing some game down back, turnover. He pumped back inside the forward 50 there.
9 minutes played in the third quarter at the MCG. The Demons lead the Giants by 11 points. Ball back in the middle. Sarong handballed to Fife. He was taken high by Cully after the play, and Fife opted not to take the advantage. So Carl Sarong will have the free kick in the middle of the ground. This will be clearance number 7. He takes off, kicks it straight up the middle into the forward 50. Tracy flew, so too did Edwards. Knocked it away from him. Sturt, a little bit of fancy footwork at ground level. Handballed it forward to Frederick. Couldn't take it. Now he tries to dive back in. Frederick once again can't gather. Jinby has it for West Coast. Shares it with Luke Edwards. Gets it back. Kicks it out looking for a target in Petruccelli. One-on-one with Chapman. Chapman went to ground. Petruccelli shows his speed. The Eagles are out over the top. Williams gathers, gives it back to Petruccelli, continues his run, goes short. Waterman saps it to his advantage, runs to 40, snaps around the body. That is end-to-end goal from the Eagles. Lightning stuff. And the 100-gamer kicks his second. Wow. Take a bow, Jack Petruccelli. The Eagles 9-2-56. The Dockers 6-2-38. The margin back to 18 points.
Petruccelli had 3 Dockers players chasing after him then. And almost spoil an impact moment from Ryan, but Waterman just pounced on it. Didn't he? Got a hand in.
The work rate from West Coast on offence at the moment is through the roof. I mean, both sides of the ball, defence as well, but they're recognising and working to space. Waterman was up on the defensive side of the centre circle as Jinby received that ball.
He worked so hard, doesn't he?
Off out to space.
So hard.
2 in a row for the Eagles, back in the middle. Williams with the tap, Kelly, and they can exit out the front of the stoppage through Reeves. He slips one tackle, Tries to slip a second and manages to get away from Brayshaw.
Oh.
Now he passes out towards Edwards on the wing, but it's going to be a downfield free kick. Brayshaw has dumped Harley Reid.
He's in trouble for that.
Cara, what did you
he's
see?
in trouble.
Before you see the replay, what did
Looks
you see?
like almost a forearm or to the back of the head to Reid from Brayshaw in frustration. Didn't look good in real time.
Reid not happy about it, giving a mouthful to Brayshaw.
Replay, Cara Sharrod.
No, he's just ran into the back of him.
Yeah. I think Reid was slipping over as well, which didn't help. You can hear what the Fremantle fans think about it as Reid takes his free kick, sends it high into the right forward pocket. Jack Williams out in front, couldn't mark. Allen gathers, handballs to Waterman, snaps from the pocket towards the goal line, and it's spoiled through Jeremy Sharp with the saving fist. One behind to West Coast. They're 9-3-57, leading by 19 points. Fremantle 6-2-38 in the 29th minute. Derby 59, Saturday night footy here on ABC Sport.
He might be okay, but you want to be careful, Andrew Brayshaw, as the kick comes out from the wing. Barras flew high, couldn't take the mark, hit the ground hard. The Eagles win it back. Walker coming through, showed some pace, was able to work his way through traffic. Reid's taken Brayshaw down off the ball as the Dockers storm forward. Sarong handballs out wide to Draper, runs, takes a bounce, handball to Walker who kept going. The kick inside the forward 50 over the top of Banfield and Amos. Getting back for the Eagles is Hunt, he's tackled. Handballs away, Edwards, he takes too long, he's run to ground, but he's saved by the boundary. Reid went after Brayshaw off the ball.
There was a bit of
then.
old school stuff there. Picked him off through the pack.
There is feeling here. The Eagles still maintain control. They're leading by 19 points. Late in the second term, ball spun back in. Darcy to the front, tapped it down to Young. Couldn't gather on the first, eventually did. Got it to Sharp, outside 50. Kick to the goal square. Players set themselves, Jackson can't mark. Well done, Edwards was able to gather. His clearing kick going for West Coast is straight down the throat of Clark.
Clark at centre half forward brings the ball towards the northern side of the ground. Jager O'Meara has it for Fremantle. He's inside the centre square. Numbers get back into the Fremantle attacking 50. O'Meara sets it up, wanting Jackson and or Frederick. Jackson on ground level. Wins it back. Handball wanted Emmett, but Kelly steals it away from him. Kicks out in front of Oscar Allen, and the ball bounces out for a throw-in. Defensive side of the wing for West Coast.
As we see Oscar Allen getting instruction from the West Coast Eagles runner, they're going to plop him down in defensive 50 just to shore up the defence in the last couple of minutes.
A change we've seen under Jared Schofield, the willingness to put a spare man behind the ball late in a quarter. While Cully gathers it off the stoppage, just dribbles the ball forward towards the wing. Chapman, below his knees, does well. Jack Williams lays a good tackle on him, and the umpire's going to have to sort this one out right in front of the Fremantle bench. West Coast still leading by 19 points, 31st minute here of the second quarter.
Ball back underway. Brayshaw takes it from the restart. Gets the handball out to Young. His handball inside to Sarong. Brilliantly back to Brayshaw. Now the run of Walker again. Under pressure from the coming Ryan. Kicks it towards half-forward. Frederick going back with courage. Courageous effort from Frederick. Took the mark. Barras was coming. He passes it inside. And Wagner takes the mark. 45 out directly in front. Barras a little shaken from the contest, but terrific courage from Frederick.
Terrific courage, but that's a couple of times now. Draper's just taken it off that halfback, driven the legs, and really been that connector inside forward 50.
Corey Wagner lining up for goal directly in front. It's not a great kick. It won't score. Allen, Sturt almost stole it from him. He did in the end. He gathered. He crumbed. He snapped. He missed. Allen thought he had it sewn up with the mark. Sturt stole it. Couldn't finish it. It's a minus score. 6-3-39 Fremantle. 9-3-57 the Eagles. 3 straight goals the margin. 18 points. 32 played.
Jaden Hunt goes for a wander from the kick-in. Kicks up towards the wing. Hutchinson was a high flyer. O'Meara sharks the pack. Handballs off to Young. forced to kick on his right. Intercepted here by Kelly for the Eagles. He'll kick to Ryan, who's got plenty of space inside the centre square. There is no one between Liam Ryan and the goals. So he just kicks, aiming to try and slide the ball through for a goal. It won't get there. Jordan Clark wins the race. Tries to make it seem like he's under pressure with a bit of a fumble. Petrocelli stood off him. Clark gets it back now. Hutchinson does put him under pressure, and Jordan Clark rushes to behind. Well, he almost made a meal of that, Jordan Clark.
You tell me, why does Jeremy Sharp not just block there? Why does he run for the release?
Well,
put a shepherd on.
No, Clark did the, right thing and tried to keep the ball alive, but because Sharp, pressure wasn't there. So you have to go as a release.
No, but 2-on-1. Surely Sharp puts a block on and allows Clark to gather. But
it was a rush behind for West Coast, 9-4-58 to Fremantle, 6-3-39.
The Dockers have won it back from the restart. Sarong handballs to Brayshaw through the middle. Those two have been prolific. Brayshaw kicks up to Banfield at half forward. Marks strongly, wants to roll quickly, kicks it, looking for the lead of O'Meara, who has to double back. Takes the mark, stretching backwards. Will kick from just inside 50, 45-degree angle, and should kick it, if they count correctly, pretty much bang on the siren.
Had a good quarter, hasn't he, O'Meara?
Yes.
Hit the scoreboard already, as you said, and he's got the 12 disposals so far for the game, so making a real impact.
Demons lead back to 3 points of the MCG late in the third quarter there. Jaeger O'Meara has the set shot. Will kick it right on the siren. The Dockers need this. O'Meara steadies, makes great contact. As the siren sounds, the Dockers get another. O'Meara has two to cap off a high-octane first half in Derby 59. The Dockers move to 7-3-45. West Coast a 9-4-58. It is a 13-point margin at the main break. The goal kickers for both sides. For the Eagles, Liam Ryan and Jake Waterman both have 2. Tim Kelly, Oscar Allen, Jamie Cripps, Jack Petrocelli and Jai Cully all have singles to make up their 9. For the Dockers, 2 goals apiece to Jaeger O'Meara and Michael Frederick. Singles to Brayshaw, Emmett and Amos. The Eagles led at 13 points at quarter time. That margin now at half-time has been cut to 13 again. So still on 13 points in a seesawing contest. We'll get an update from the Olympics very, very shortly, and we'll get the news headlines as well. But before we do that, some quick thoughts from our experts here in the box for Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Sharad Wellingham, Cara Antonio, that was a high-energy first half.
Yeah, the high-octane football, wasn't it?
It was.
It was great to watch, but both sides are really, really cracking in, and they're leaving it all out there so far, aren't they? I think the emotion of the Derby's definitely fired up West Coast from what we've seen over the last couple of weeks. And from a Fremantle point of view, I think they're caught a little bit off guard. They are a little bit flat-footed, and there's been glimpses of them being where we expect them to be, playing that kind of football that we expect them to. I think that they have been a touch caught off guard here, and West Coast have come out the blocks, and whether they can maintain it is obviously the million-dollar question, but great start from both sides. I feel like West Coast has thrown a few punches, and Fremantle's able to kind of still be in it and withstand it at the moment, and I think they've got the potential to go to another level still.
Yeah, I agree, and I think just looking at the stats and even just the feel of the game at the moment, and we mentioned it a few times, Shaz, the work rate from the Eagles players on the outside, they're plus 10 in uncontested possessions across the ground, whereas the Dockers they're up in uncontested, Dockers are up in contested. So, but I feel like they're not effective contested possessions. I feel like West Coast are getting on top in areas that are more potent. They look exciting when they've got the ball and they're moving it quickly. And you're right, catching the Dockers off guard. I think they've scored 6 goals from turnovers, the Eagles. That's their pressure. Mm-hmm. And no doubt, Jared Schofield will be very impressed with that. I think they had 0 tackles inside forward 50 last week, and they've had a number of pressure acts, not just tackles, but pressure acts and their ability to turn the ball over and hit the scoreboard quickly has been the most impressive thing for me tonight.
The thing I reckon you can tell if a game's intense and players are doing all of those desire indicators and pressure indicators, like you said, is when there are chase down tackles, or tackles where it's not just someone in the contest slowing somebody up. It's somebody who's coming from outside of the contest and impacting, and smothers. And we've seen a lot of smothers tonight, which means players are, they're fighting the contest right till the last second. And it's a great sign, I think, we're seeing it from both sides, but it's a great sign in a game of football where you're seeing those chase down tackles and smothers.
And you feel like every tackle means something, or there's got something a little bit of extra
attached
in it.
To it.
Yeah, and
I love that little bit of byplay through that quarter with Brayshaw and Reid.
Yeah,
like
we got the behind angle as well, though, didn't we?
I want to see it in real time again, because when I saw that, I thought, he's in a bit of trouble there.
Yeah, and we got it from behind live, and we got it from behind on the replay, but we haven't actually seen the front on angle to see where he actually, what he hit Reid with it. Because if it is a forearm, he's in trouble.
Because
that player from Gold Coast got off, didn't he?
No, he got a week. Yeah.
When you're watching a game of footy and you see a hit, like even the Sean Darcy one where he got his head knocked, and if a crowd or someone goes, that doesn't, you kind of like, did they need to look at that? So, yeah, just from the angle that I was sitting on, no one was really around. He didn't need to do it. So, yeah, it'd be interesting.
It was definitely frustration after he just been dancing around his teammates.
It's been a terrific first half here at Perth Stadium. In the other game over at the MCG, the Demons have wrestled back the lead again after the Giants got in front. 8-9-57 Melbourne to the Giants 8-6-54. Late stages of the third term. Well, third term's late stages of the third term there over at the MCG. The other games today, Geelong beat North Melbourne by 40 points. The Lions beat the Suns in the Q Clash over there by 28 points. And St Kilda defeated Essendon in Melbourne by 53 points. And for the Super Netball fans, the West Coast Fever have lost to the Melbourne Vixens by a goal, 73-72. The Vixens through to the grand final against the Adelaide Thunderbirds. We'll keep you updated with all the scores and all the action. We'll get an Olympics update very, very soon. Before we do that, though, it's news time. Let's get the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
ABC News with Satyam Weinstein. The Paris Olympics has opened with a grand display of French culture and heritage and the world's top athletes sailing down the River Seine in heavy rain. Pro-Palestinian protests have occurred at the New South Wales Labor Conference despite the state party passing a motion calling for the recognition of a Palestinian state. Here's Nick Dole.
There were some people who called out Free Palestine from the audience. Another conference attendee unfurled a Palestinian banner as well. It remained there throughout Anthony Albanese's speech. There wasn't any major disruption, but there will be an important discussion about recognition of Palestine scheduled for discussion later in the conference on Sunday. That's where we're likely to see inside the conference pretty vigorous debate. There are plenty of people in Labor's rank and file who believe the party has not gone far enough. There will be calls from some for the party to directly condemn Israel for civilian casualties in Gaza.
The Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has used today's New South Wales State Labor Party conference to announce the federal government will commence steps for the Jabiluka mineral lease to become part of the Kakadu National Park, in line with the wishes of traditional owners. The announcement ends decades of uncertainty about what will happen to the land after the mineral lease for the site expires on the 11th of August. Jabiluka features extensive rock art, shelters and paintings that are recognised among the longest historical records of any group of people on Earth. Mr Albanese says the decision comes after a push by many people, including the Minister for Indigenous Australians, Linda Burney. Rallies against domestic violence have been held across the country today and will continue tomorrow as part of a nationwide action calling for an end to gendered, sexual, domestic and family violence. The rallies are being organised by the advocacy group What Were You Wearing? It organised similar rallies in April that were attended by more than 100,000 people. CEO Sarah Williams says they're expecting a good turnout.
You're now up to date with the very latest from ABC News. I have never seen anything like what I saw that day.
Nobody knows the story like someone who was actually there.
I heard commotion.
Every fibre in my body just went into goosebumps.
From the Boxing Day tsunami to Nicky Winmar's iconic stand to the Beatles tour of Australia.
I screamed.
A brand new series from the creators of You Can't Ask That.
Oh my God.
I was actually there.
Gives me goosebumps, hey.
Tuesday nights on ABC TV and stream all episodes free on ABC iView.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
To Heath Chapman, 20 out from his own goal. He's caught. He coughs the kick up. Straight to Petruccelli. Snaps around the body and he kicks it.
Jake Waterman for his first goal in game 100. Makes the umpire do a little bit of work, but he puts it through. He's got Tracy one out. Emmett getting back to Tracy front position. Nudged out of it by Hoff. Emmett can't gather. Hoff on hands and knees. Gets it up to Hunt. Tracy lays the tackle. Ball comes back to Emmett. And Emmett runs in to the open goal. Terrific work by Josh Tracy and Tom Emmett. Liam Ryan. He's got one already tonight. Boot to ball from 35. Easy as you like. And it's 2 tonight for Liam Ryan. He puts West Coast back out by 12 points.
Kicks it out looking for a target in Petruccelli. One-on-one with Chapman. Chapman went to ground. Petruccelli shows his speed. The Eagles are out over the top. Williams gathers. Gives it back to Petruccelli. Continues his run. Goes short. Waterman saps it to his advantage. Runs to 40. Snaps around the body. That is end-to-end goal from the Eagles. Jager O'Meara has the set shot. Will kick it right on the siren. The Dockers need this. O'Meara steadies, makes great contact. As the siren sounds, the Dockers get another.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Half-time here at Derby 59 at Perth Stadium. It's the Eagles leading the Dockers by 13 points, 9-4-58 to the Dockers, 7-3-45. It was 13 points at quarter time. It remains 13 points at half-time. And the other score very quickly from the MCG between the Giants and the Demons. The fourth quarter due to get underway in about 2 minutes, and it's the Giants that lead 9-6-60 to the Demons, 8-9-57. Well, I mentioned at the start of our coverage tonight that our fearless leader, Clint Wilden, is busy covering the Olympics for everyone and broadcasting that for all of our regional listeners in certain parts of the country. And I thought, why not check in with Clint Wilden, because the Boomers have just finished their first match at the Paris Olympics. Clint Wilden, how did they go?
They had a win, Mitch. 92-80 over Spain in the Tournament Open. It was terrific as well. They fell behind in the third quarter, but came back to record their first victory over Spain at an Olympic game since Seoul in 1988. So that is a momentous moment for the Boomers. Jock Landale led the way, 20 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. The Boomers were a 30-point better team when he was on the floor. Outstanding performance from him and from the Boomers. And the Australians next play Canada on Tuesday night. That's at 9:30 Eastern, 7:30 in the Greater West. Swimming was entertaining. The heats, there's 4 gold medals up for grabs tonight. The Australians have a chance, and a genuine chance too, for the first time in what has already been a golden history, winning 3 gold medals in one night. The women's 400 free final is on. The defending Olympic champion and the world record holder Ariane Titmus qualified second fastest behind the great Katie Ledecky, but she had plenty in reserve, Titmus. Jamie Perkins qualified 5th. In the men's 400 free final, both Sam Short and Elijah Whittington are through for tonight. The women's 4x100 freestyle relay, the Australians will swim from lane 4. They're the fastest qualifier. Meg Harris and Emma McKeon both stunning for Australia in the heats. And what was really somewhat of a surprise, the men's 4x100 freestyle, brilliantly anchored by Kyle Chalmers. He stormed home to win for the Australians, claiming their heat up against a Caleb Dressel anchored American side. So they've qualified second fastest behind China. That's an amazing performance by the men. The women's 100 fly, Emma McKeon and Alexandria Perkins have qualified for tonight's semis, and Joshua Yong, the West Australian, is through to the semi-finals of the men's 100 breaststroke. It wasn't such great news, though, in the diving, though. The women's 3-metre synchro. Bad news for Keeney and Smith. They finished 5th after a poor final dive saw them drop from 3rd place overall, so much heartbreak for both of those. In the rowing, a little bit of news. The women's Australian double sculls partnership of Amanda Bateman and Harriet Hudson are through to Tuesday's semi-finals, and I always find this sort of stuff interesting. The men's street skateboarding event has had to be postponed because of the rain has caused the course to be too slippery. It has just bucketed down and rained a little bit more in Paris. Mitch?
Clint, we are missing you here in Perth. We appreciate the update, though. Old habits die hard, though, Clint, because our tech, Adrian, has brought in some pies and sausage rolls. There is no sauce on them because that's the way you like it.
Well, they're pre-sauced, Mitch.
He's sitting here and he's eating the pies without sauce. He's just turned his nose up at them.
No, I had the pie because of what Clint said. It's already got the gravy in there, but I can't have the sausage rolls with no sauce.
Oh, well, I can live. But the pies, you don't have to worry. The sauce is in the gravy. Clint, enjoy them as they are.
You've taught them very well. We appreciate the update, and we're looking forward to hearing you if you are in our regional areas across the country. If you're in Adelaide, Canberra, Northern Territory, Gold Coast and Hobart as well. We'll look forward to chatting to you again soon, Clint.
Good on you, everyone.
Clint Wheeldon there with an Olympic update. Plenty of gold medals on the line tonight for our Aussies. Repeating a win for the Boomers over Spain, the Australian men's basketball team getting their campaign underway with a winning start over in France. Here at Perth Stadium, though, it's half-time in Derby 59. The Eagles lead the Dockers by 13 points, 9-4-58, 7-3-45. In a derby that really has felt like a bit of an old-fashioned derby. Sharad Wellingham, Cara Antonio, a lot of spite, the crowd getting involved, plenty of goals in the first half. It has had a real derby feel to it, hasn't it?
It has.
Yeah, it certainly
bit of push and shove, a few little tussles that have eventuated across the first half. So it'll be interesting to see if that continues. No doubt it will with the scoreline.
Maintain the rage.
But I'm looking forward to seeing that intensity continue for the second half because no team's backing down yet.
Well, like I said, I feel like Fremantle's still got a lot more to give. They've got another gear that, after the football I've seen them play over the last few weeks, I think that they've got another gear to go to. But I don't know if that's off the back of West Coast putting a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm not sure if they're restricting their game style or they're just not able to get up to the level that, we're used to seeing.
13-point margin here between the Dockers and the Eagles. We'll be welcoming some of our listeners across from the other game very, very shortly from Melbourne and GWS. Sharad, Cara, some news that Akash Fodor has just let me know, and that is that Jack Petrocelli has been reported already for that hit on Sean Darcy, where he collected him with pretty much the elbow and the hip at the same time. Darcy had slipped. Your thoughts on that? Has he got anything to worry about?
We were just talking about it.
Yeah, I want to see it again.
It's more so the fact that I didn't think it was super avoidable. Like Darcy slipped into that position. Jack Petrocelli's attempting to collect the ball, leans down to collect it. Now, he definitely does protect himself. But he doesn't go in looking for that contact, I don't think. It's a really last-second protect, and so he hasn't elected to bump as such. I think that he's,
Yeah, I think he's okay watching the replay just there.
It's all very fast, and Sean Darcy comes in, slides in really low. I'm not sure if he slips or he actually slides in.
I think he almost slides in, which is the wrong thing to do by Sean Darcy. You get taught these days not to slide for the contact below the knees and the danger there. He does angle his body a bit, Sean Darcy. I think it's completely accidental. I don't think Petruccelli meant to do it. As you
He almost bends
watch
down
the
to pick
replay
it up,
again.
though. Like
He doesn't actually go to his knees, does he? He doesn't slide. He's just really low.
Yeah.
He's low and leaning back, isn't he? It's a weird position for a ruckman to find
I
themselves.
mean, he goes to pick a ground. Yeah, he goes to pick the ground ball up. I mean, Petruccelli runs past the ball. I don't know.
It's a tough one because it's a blink of an eye.
He has played on, and I don't believe he underwent a HIA assessment. He may have, because he came off with a shoulder stinger, so they may have done the same.
Which is the other question I wanted to raise. Knowing that Brisbane Lions have obviously been copped that fine with the Harris Andrews.
40,000, yep.
Like, surely any hit to the head needs to be assessed. And isn't that a 20-minute
Well, that was the first of two. Well, no, because you have to do a HIA, which is the
Okay.
initial assessment, which they now want you to come from the ground to do.
Yeah.
The HIA, then you decide from that whether they go and do the SCAT, the full SCAT 6 test. So you just have to do an initial.
Who does the HIA?
The doctor.
On the
and
bench.
team
did
doctor.
he do that?
Didn't seem like it. It'll be interesting to see what Fremantle's response is, whether it was done on the field out there. He copped 2 in about 3 or 4 minutes. So
the second one seems like the one where they said shoulder stinger, because we could see him holding his arm after he copped a second whack.
Doesn't matter. We saw the footage. Like, he clearly copped one in the head.
teams moving out to position here. The Eagles are leading by 13 points. We're about to get the third quarter underway. A cash voted us some of the stats from the first half before we get back underway.
Yeah, some of the leading possession getters around the ground, Mitch. For Fremantle, Caleb Sarong, busy as always, has 19 disposals. Andy Brayshaw with 19 as well. And for West Coast, Harley Reid has 17 disposals, Elliot Yeo 15 and Tim Kelly 15. So plenty of midfielders getting their hands on the ball in this contest.
Cara, Sharad, who are you tipping from here?
I think West Coast will hold on.
I'm gonna say that Fremantle are gonna come back and win.
There you go. Allegiances die hard. The Docker picking the Dockers, the Eagle picking the Eagles. Second half about to get underway as the players are resumed in their positions. If you are just joining us as well, the Eagles have used their sub. Jai Cully is onto the ground. Zane True's been subbed out. Copped a massive blow in the opening bounce of the game. Fremantle, from what we can see, still yet to use their sub, which is James Aish in his 100th game for the club. Second half action. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Derby 59. The Eagles lead by 13 points. Here's a cash photograph for the restart.
Can Fremantle hit back early in the third? Bailey Williams rises high in the ruck contest, tapped it towards Harley Reid, and the umpire pays a free kick to Reid for a hold. Handballs off his knees to Kelly, who drives West Coast inside forward 50. Cox with a big fist. Liam Ryan will be first to the ball, but the ball beats him and rolls out of bounds at the junction of the 50 and the boundary line at right half forward for West Coast. Bailey Williams standing a few metres off Darcy for this ruck contest. They lock up, Darcy with the tap. Reid couldn't gather. Pack forms around the ball, and the umpire's going to have to sort this one out again. It's Jack Hutchinson, the last one to rise to his feet. So right on the paint of 50 at right half forward for the Eagles. The umpire tosses it up once more. No clear winner out of the ruck tap. Darcy bends down, picks it up, and tackled by a couple of Eagles, and the umpire will do it all again. Through the first minute of the third quarter, no score. Kelly onto the loose ball at right half forward. Handballs to Hutchinson, and he's tackled over the line and out of bounds, about 40 metres around from the West Coast Eagles goal.
Feel free to get in contact on the text line for ABC Sport, 0437 774 774. Ball spun back into play. Darcy at the front, trying to tap it to Sarong over Rennet. The Eagles get it through Reid, tucked up on the boundary line under pressure, and the kick goes sailing into the stands, much to the cheers of the Dockers faithful. Adrian,
I think they were jeers.
Adrian from Geraldton said a pie and sauce is what you have at the footy, in response to Clint Wheeldon preferring to go without the sauce. Ryan kicks the ball beyond defensive 50. Strong mark from Tracy. Haven't said that too much today. Really risky kick into the middle of the ground. Almost perfect to Switkowski. He made it work, the Docker, able to handball it across to Walker. Now to Draper. Back to Walker. Under pressure from Ryan. He felt the pressure. Had a fumble. Went back and got it. Gave it to O'Meara. Back to Draper. Ryan's corralling him. Able to step around him. Did well, the young man. Now kicks it to half forward. Sarong floating in front. Brilliant. Great grab in front of Reid. He's 55 from home. He lowers the eyes. And Switkowski continued his run. Was able to drop into a pocket of space and take the mark.
Wow, they almost made a meal of that Fremantle on the wing there with 3v2. Got out of trouble. Really nice grab by Sarong. That is a strong mark. And then again just found Switkowski all by himself. West Coast Eagles defenders falling asleep.
Caleb Sarong officially tying with that disposal the record for the longest streak of 20 disposal games in the AFL VFL with 70. Sam Switkowski from the set shot drifts it left to right. Celebrates truly. He gets his first. The Dockers get the first of the second half. They cut the margin back to 7 points. 8-3-51 Fremantle. 9-4-58 the Eagles. Can that be the fire starter for Fremantle?
It was really a fortunate bit of play, really. They nearly cooked it. It was if that mark by Sarong isn't taken because it was a bit of a miss kick going inside or going into the forward 50 there. If he doesn't mark that, it was going into a nest of Eagles.
It's almost fitting that Switkowski kicked the goal because he was the one that made the dangerous Tracy kick in the middle work.
100%.
The Dockers with the first goal of the second half. They've cut the margin back to 7 points. Darcy makes a beeline for Williams and then wins the tap. Yo gathers at ground level for West Coast and wins the clearance. Sends them high up to centre half forward. Petrocelli and Clark and Chapman stand under it. And the umpires found a free kick here for a hold, which will go to Heath Chapman. So the Dockers defender will have the ball on the edge of his defensive 50. West Coast kicking towards the Graham Farmer freeway end of the ground in this third term. Chapman sends the ball out to the southern wing. Darcy stands under it and takes a strong grab on the logo. Wants to move it quickly now. Kicks inside forward 50. Amos from the back. Can't mark. Barris in front of Jackson. Knocks it away from him. Jackson goes back and gets it. Gives it to Tracy. He handballs in. Barris to Jinby. West Coast in a bit of trouble. And Yo snaps it outside defensive 50, but the mark is taken by Sharp. He can send Fremantle straight back into attack. 60 metres from home. Sharp wheels around onto his right boot. Kicks it long and high to the hot spot. Here comes Jackson. He can't mark. Barris brought the ball to ground. Still trouble here for West Coast. Amos grabs. Tried to fight his way through the tackle. Snapped on goal. And there was enough pressure from the Eagles defenders to ensure that Jai Amos could not kick truly. And he misses to the left-hand side. Behind onto Freo's tally. They bring the margin back to one straight kick. They're 8-4-52 to West Coast, 9-4-58. 5.5 minutes gone in the third term of Derby 59.
Hunt from the restart, plays on, kicks it to the wing. Brennan Cox, big fist. Straight though towards the Eagles player in Hutchinson. Nice little sidestep on O'Meara. Did well and delivered. Even better to Cripps, who takes the mark right in front of the interchange gates. You just feel the Dockers are making a bit of a push here. Can the Eagles answer back? Cripps switches it inboard. It's a Hunt. Runs around. Tracy kicks short. Horrible kick. Chopped off by Young. Couldn't quite gather cleanly though. Hunt follows up with a tackle. Young just throws it away with a handball. Gave it straight to Bailey Williams. Off to Cripps. Oh, big crunching collision in the middle of the ground. Falls the way of Reed. He's tackled. Brayshaw's got him and he lets him know about it.
I think it's Clark.
It's Clark who's gone. Yeah, it's Clark who's got him in the end. And now he's played on a half-back, Jordan Clark, and he ran into trouble. Had no idea what to do. Spun back, went 360 the other way, and was able to find O'Meara. Kick up the wing to Tracy. Good spoil by Rotham. Tracy did well to gather again. Gets it to Young. Handball over the top. Looking for Brayshaw was interesting. He managed to get a hand and tap it away from Hunt. Now Ryan slides in. He's on top of the ball. The umpire is circling. It's a ball up.
Courageous from Switkowski in the middle of the ground. Ended up being him and Chapman. I think they collided. He looks a bit proppy off the ball as well.
Ball tapped down from the restart. Straight to Banfield. Now to Walker. Clever handball inside to Clark. He sees something he likes. Drifting over the top. It's Sharp. Great vision from the Dockers and Clark. Didn't blaze away. Saw Sharp out the left-hand side. was able to find him inside forward 50. He'll kick from 45 metres out, slide angle to the left.
We had a beautiful angle of that one, didn't we, Carl? It was perfect kick from Clark, who saw Sharp sliding down the open side of the forward 50, running into plenty of space. But as you said, Mitch decided to pull up and go back for the set shot.
To level the scores, Jeremy Sharp. Kick on goal is fading away to the right. 8-5-53 the Dockers, 9-4-58 the Eagles, 7.5 played. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport here in the third quarter.
Hoff kicks in to Barris in the right back pocket. The 150 gamer, Eagles best and fairest, just takes his time and goes long and high out to the southern wing. Darling front position, punched away from him by Luke Ryan. Darling follows up. Fremantle win the ball on ground level and the handball comes out to Sharp. Boundary side, goes back now to Banfield. Looks inboard, can't find anything he likes. Give it back to Ryan. Attempts to barrel and just tumbles it towards half forward. Tracy has the ball spoiled away from him. Hunt now gathers for the Eagles. Handball back to Kelly. Kelly kicks up, wants Darling. Banfield applied enough pressure, but I think he's given away the free kick for front-on contact. And then he's taken Tom Cole with him as well in the aftermath. But Darling has the free kick for West Coast at right half-back. Their lead is 5 points. Into the 9th minute of the third term here. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Darling kicks long and high up to the southern wing. And Josh Draper from the back just kills the ball out over the boundary line. And it will be thrown in. True centre wing on the southern side of Perth Stadium.
The Eagles have led since the early stages of the first term. The Dockers kicked the first goal through the boot of Andrew Brayshaw. The Eagles answered back with the next three. They've led ever since. Ball spun back in from the restart. Coming through was Cole. Handball a little hot for Reid. Fife missed it as well. Going back in is Cully. Couldn't get away from the Fife tackle. Fife wanted holding the ball, spun him around, but there was no prior at all.
Fife almost looks like he's doing a little bit of a run with on Harley Reid as we see him collect the footy.
This time Reid spun through the pack, just got caught at the end, was able to handball to Kelly. Now back to Marrick, his kick over the top. Well done, Sharp. Getting back against Reid, took the mark, and now Chapman comes in. Didn't like the push from Harley Reid that he gave Sharp at the end of it. Just got to be careful. There's flying the flag, and then there's reversing a decision. Stays with Jeremy Sharp for the time being. From centre wing, kicks it towards half forward. Darcy at the front, couldn't mark. Marrick crumbs it for the Eagles. Bailey Williams tried to knock it away. Ricochets off bodies. Brayshaw gathers it for Fremantle. Gives it to Sharp. His handball a little hot for Tracy. And Cole knocks it out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. Still plenty of spice and tension in this game. Plenty of push and shove. The Eagles have led for almost all of it. As the ball's spun back in, they hold a 5-point lead. Darcy taps it out into space. Young's running onto it for Fremantle. Boundary line beats him to it. We'll have a ball in once again deep inside the forward pocket for the Dockers. They trail by 5 points, 10 minutes played third term.
Just looking at the replay there, I think Ryan Marrick's copped a football to the face.
Oh, Falcon from his teammate.
Ball thrown back in, left forward pocket for the Dockers. Williams front position, Darcy flicks it over the back to Witkowski, gives it to Young, tries to break through the tackle. Handball's up on hands and knees. Reid takes it for West Coast, gives it off now to Kelly. Kelly clears defensive 50. Low pass wanting Jack Williams at half back, he couldn't take it. Brayshaw now for Fremantle. Handball's back to Draper. Draper off to a running Wagner. Wagner from 50. Kicks towards the top of the goal square. Pack flies, ball knocked to ground. Cole coming through for West Coast. Gathers, Jackson runs him down. Ball comes to Cully. He's run down by Tracy. And that is holding the ball. Have the umpires called advantage? Oh no, ball comes to Wagner from 45.
That is terrible.
That is terrible.
I'm sorry, but Fife took the advantage.
He didn't know.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone stopped.
Everyone stopped, and then he went and handballed it.
Josh Tracy with the great tackle running down Jai Cully. The ball came to Nat Fife, who took the advantage by handballing to Wagner, but everyone
had stopped.
Had completely stopped, and the umpire waved advantage. Wagner's kick was then pressured and rushed and intercepted by West Coast across their full back line, and now the Eagles have cleared out to right half back where Jack Williams has the ball.
That was terrible. Read the room, umpire.
Correct.
So Fremantle squander a golden opportunity to go in front. It's the Eagles by 5 points, 9-4-58 to 8-5-53. As they switch the ball across their defensive 50. Barris kicks out in front of Reid, misses the target, and the ball runs out of bounds at left half back for West Coast.
Jai Amos has run him down. There was a tackle just before it. They didn't pay holding the ball, but they thought they got it. Five cannot hear the whistle. I could barely hear anything from here. You have some common sense.
The umpire to toss the ball back in. Right half forward here for Fremantle. Jackson and Jack Williams. Jackson with the tap. Sarong gathers. Handballs off to Young. Going backwards. Now to Clark. Steps through the Cully tackle. Flicks it back over to Young. On that left boot. Kicks up to the hot spot. Tracy in position A. And Josh Tracy leads out and clunks it. He'll be feeling like a bit of justice here. He can go back and take the set shot on goal he should have had moments ago. And if the Dockers' leading goal kicker this season can kick truly, he'll put Fremantle back in front.
Pretty much taking it from where he laid that tackle as well. So all things work out. Pretty confident with the way he's been striking the ball lately.
Josh Tracy from 40 metres out, a slight angle to the right, and he puts the Purple Army back in front by a point. Josh Tracy has led the way all season for Fremantle. He kicks his first goal of the evening, his 40th for the season, and Fremantle now lead 9-5-59 to West Coast 9-4-58. Let's head downstairs to Bridget Lacey.
You mentioned Sam Strzokowski was a little proppy after a contest in the middle of the ground a few minutes ago. He's come to the bench, had a chat to the Docs, but looks to be okay to continue. So good news for Freo.
Looked like he was almost winded or landed awkwardly, maybe a corky. Almost over-handballed it again, Fremantle, on the wing there, but luckily Young was on his left side and just got it to a dangerous spot.
This is a big test for the Eagles, isn't it? The Dockers are pushing. Can they hold up and respond? It's the first time Fremantle have led since the 9-minute mark. Ball back into play in the middle of the ground. Harley Reid onto it. Sarong, he shakes the tackle, does Reid. Draws a player. Gives it to Jack Williams. Now to Jimby. Coming off the back of the square. Kicks it up to the forward 50. Punched away by Chapman from Darling. Jimby followed it up. Overran it. So too did Sturt. Cully's in there for the Eagles. Now Chapman spins through. Takes the tackle. He's wrapped up by Cully and Jinby. There's once again a bit of push and shove. Chapman and Reid haven't shied away from it all night, those two. Ball up in the air. Umpire goes down. Fife, who's already been fined 2 weeks ago, or maybe last week it was, for careless contact with an umpire. So that'll be another one. Restart again. Jackson reaches over the top, tried to tap it to Young, was knocked away from him, and Young dives back in.
It's a tactic from Reid to duck around the umpire, and as he's exiting out from after throwing the ball up,
which players shouldn't be doing either, I don't think. Jackson goes up, trying to take it out of the ruck, dropped it. Jack Williams over the top of the Eagles, he couldn't take it. Now Sturt's in there for Fremantle. It's like a rolling maul in rugby. Young comes away with it, handballs it out into space. Sturt gathered cleanly, got it to Sarong, kick over the top. The Dockers have got the numbers. Amos read it beautifully, got to the ball, takes the mark. Kicks inside to Frederick. Amos took the mark, kicked it inside, found Frederick on the chest. He'll go back, set shot directly in front, 40 metres out for his third.
Had a number of options, didn't he?
Yeah.
Amos. A couple of forwards leading away, and then Frederick
just popping up.
He did, just into the space there.
Are the Eagles running out of steam a little bit?
Yeah, well, this is what I meant by Fremantle have got another gear to go to.
They just regained the lead. Michael Frederick to extend it. Freddie's got three. The Freo faithful have found their voice and they come from everywhere. The Dockers are up and about. They extend the margin out to 7 points. 10-5-65. The Eagles 9-4-58. 3 straight to start this quarter for the Dockers. 17 minutes played. Mitch Turner alongside of Cash Bodadar on ABC Sport. Our experts, Cara Antonio and Sharad Wellingham.
Well, this is the pace on the ball that I guess we've seen over the last couple of weeks and their ability to transition. So it was a rolling ball on the defensive half for Fremantle and they just zip away at pace, link up really well, and their ability to, I suppose, get those out the back plays. I mean, Frederick wasn't out the back, but
he worked
Amos
hard.
was.
Pushed hard ahead of the footy, didn't he?
Amos was the one who was working really hard into space to be the forward option.
Fremantle with 3 straight to start the third term, and they now have a 7-point lead. They're out of the centre clearance again, and Tracy takes a strong grab in front of Harry Edwards. It was Luke Jackson delivering inside forward 50, and Fremantle have all the momentum now. Josh Tracy kicking for his second goal of the match and his second goal of the term. He'll kick from about 45 metres out on a 45-degree angle to the left.
This is the real concern for West Coast now. 13th mark inside 50 to the Dockers. They're 6th for the quarter.
Tracy breaks the arc of 50, kicks on goal, and that is dead straight. Another goal for the Big Kahuna. That's his second. Freo have kicked the last 5 of the game, and they now lead by 13 points. 11-5-71 to West Coast, 9-4-58. And all of a sudden, things are looking a little bit worrying for the team in blue and gold.
They certainly are. Momentum's a marvellous thing when it's at your back. And Tracy, he's just absolute on fire at the moment. You know, through the season, I mean, not just tonight. He's on fire. But, it's the stoppages where they've just really controlled, taken some ascendancy, haven't they?
Yeah, third goal for the quarter from stoppage. Real dangerous.
They just don't seem to have that intensity around the contest at the moment, West Coast.
Freo's biggest lead of the night, 13 points. The attack came down to Sarong, went straight through his hands. He missed it. The ball ricocheted off Banfield's legs, straight to Yo. Tumbling kick inside the Eagles, forward 50. Waterman tried to tap it to Cripps. 5 coming through was strong. Gave it to Wagner, broke the line, took off, then gave it to his fellow speedster in Walker. Took a bounce under pressure. Brilliantly done by Walker. The kick inside the forward 50 deserves a mark, doesn't get it. Well knocked away by the Eagles. Jimby clears it up. Still inside defensive 50. Cole's under pressure. Kicks it out to the wing, and once again, Jeremy Sharp covering the outlet, goes back and takes the intercept mark. He has the ball just forward of centre wing. Southern side of the ground, kicks short to Wagner. The Dockers now just controlling possession for a moment. Wagner eventually pulls the trigger, kicks it inside the 450. Darcy couldn't mark, Barris was there. Cole was tackled without it. Umpire eventually blows the whistle. He had it, he lost it. The stir tackle lingered too long. The Eagles win possession back deep in the right back pocket. Tom Cole has the ball. This goes short to Jamie Cripps. The Eagles trail by 13 points. 20 minutes played in the third term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Cripps goes for a run from right half back. Kicks long up the southern wing. Allen at the back, Bailey Williams at the front. Neither could mark it. Fremantle come away with it again. Through Draper to Darcy. Handballs forward to Wagner. Goes outside to Sharp. Running powerfully as he always does. Wagner kept going and he runs straight into Cole. Big tackle from the Eagles defender. And he takes Wagner out of bounds at left half forward for Fremantle.
Well read there by Tom Cole. Just saw the handball getting placed by Sharp and pressed perfectly. I think he may have landed a corky on Wagner as well.
The umpire tosses the ball back in. Darcy with the tap down to Brayshaw, hassled it out of it by Yo. Brayshaw gets it back though. Handballs to his great mate Sarong. Now Walker running off half back. Sizzling low pass inside 50 onto the chest of Frederick. The umpire said play on. He didn't hold it for long enough. And then Frederick lays a solid tackle on Tom Barris. And the umpire will ball it up right on the 50-metre arc, centre half forward for the Dockers. Williams tries to take it out of the ruck. Sarong coming through. Yo sticks a boot in, but he can't get it away for the West Coast. Cully now. He just dumps the kick out of trouble for West Coast out to that southern wing. Darling's got 3 Dockers to beat. Knocks it forward. Keeps going here, does Jack Darling. Under pressure from Draper. Hassled by 2 Dockers, and Darling sees the ball out over the boundary line, attacking side of the southern wing, and the umpire says, I'll throw it in.
Well done, Jack.
Oh, You're going to be a brave umpire to call that.
He said 3-on-2 against the Eagles, but Wagner wasn't really... It didn't count.
Wasn't really there.
Well, spun back in. Darcy and Williams go at it. Fife trying to go through the stoppage, taken by Cully in a tackle. He's been physical tonight, Jai Cully, after coming on in the opening term. Zane True.
Wagner appears to have come good. Wagner appears to have come good as he waves away the Fremantle medical.
Ball tap from the stoppage again. Fremantle take it away. Fife to Brayshaw. Brayshaw shakes the Ryan tackle, then takes a bounce, runs away from the former All-Australian. The kick towards Emmett was a grubber. Went back in. The Docker did, though. Tapped it to Tracy. He breaks one tackle. Steps around Jimby. He's dancing. He's looking for a target. He kicks in the Frederick direction over the back. Amos gathers, spins around, handballs over to Sturt, handball to Switkowski, steadies, aims, fires, misses. The Dockers are riding the momentum. It's a minor score. 11-6-72 Fremantle, 9-4-58 West Coast, 14-point margin, 23 played.
Edwards from the kick-in goes short, and Jake Waterman has had to come a long way up the field to get the ball. He's still in the left back pocket, and he goes back to Oscar Allen at fullback. There's two men you didn't expect to be sharing the ball at this position on the ground. Allen goes long, back to Waterman, who moved further up the field, but has the ball spoiled away from him by Frederick. Waterman thinks he had enough of the football for a mark. The umpire says no, and instead it's going to be a boundary throw-in.
They're
right
really
half forward.
Stop this momentum, West Coast, aren't they? Are flooding numbers back.
Flood numbers back, retain the ball, kick mark when you do get your hands on it. Just really quell the bleeding.
Darcy and Williams at right half forward for Fremantle. Darcy with a tap, Sarong clean through the stoppage on the left boot, long towards goal. It slides across the face and out of bounds in the left forward pocket.
Sarong, 9 clearances now.
He's starting to tear this game apart, isn't he? He's had 9 score involvements, 7 inside 50s. The Eagles led by 13 points at quarter time, 13 points at half time. They now trail by 14 points. 24 and a half gone in the third. Ball comes in from the boundary throw-in, tap towards Cully for the Eagles. Tumbling ball beyond defensive 50. Hutchinson spilt it, so did Ryan. Reed's in there, can't gather. Walker stole it away from him, tackled by Luke Edwards. Did well to stop him.
Reed getting some very close checking. Not getting given an inch at the moment.
Reed standing next to Fife. This stoppage, Darcy taps it down. Sarong again, pushed in the back. Umpire said play on. Kelly emerged with it. He fell over, lost the ball. Flying in is Reed, can't get out of traffic. Brayshaw, his handball is knocked down. Comes to Walker for the Dockers. Back to Sarong. Chiseling left foot pass, the beauty inside the forward 50. Tracy takes the mark on the lead. He'll go back, set shot, 45 out. Slightly worse than 45-degree angle to the left. Caleb Sarong is everywhere.
That is elite on the opposite side of his body as well. Just inviting the forward to come up at the footy, and great mid-forward connection yet again.
Josh Tracy has kicked 2 goals this quarter. He's lining up for goal number 3. Kick is on the way. It's not his best effort. It's way to the right. It just sneaks in the behind post, and it's a minor score. 11-7-73 the Dockers, 9-4-58 the Eagles. Into red time in the third term. Mitch Turner alongside Sharad Wellingham, Cara Antonio here on ABC Sport. Here's a cash photo.
Cole from the kick in, brings the ball out to the broadcast side of the ground. Jack Williams from 3 deep, can't mark. Darling at the back, tries to just knock it forward. Dives in and punches the Eagles about 30 metres towards their goal. Draper, though, the only player there for Fremantle. He gathers, handball to Cox. Under a bit of pressure, handball back to Draper. And he's just hassled over the boundary line by Harley Reid.
The Giants have held on in the other game of the MCG, 13-7-85, defeating Melbourne 12-11-83, a 2-point win to the Giants.
Stoppage in the front half here for West Coast. Feels like a while since it's been down their end of the ground. Bailey Williams, front position on Jackson, slaps it forward. O'Meara first to the ball. Shows a bit of candy to Marek. Handball now to Walker. Walker kicks the ball up the wing. Tracy in a one-on-one with Barris. Tracy does well. Barris manages to bring it to ground. Brayshaw all over him. And the umpire's going to have to ball this one up right in front of the Freo bench, where Nat Fyfe, doing some stretches, shouts some encouragement to his teammates. Fremantle still leading by 15 points, 27 minutes played in the third.
Ball toss back up, Williams taps it to Reid, immediately set up on Brayshaw, stole it away from him, then Reid slung him to ground and he held him too long. The Dockers let him know, Young, Switkowski, they all come in. Hunt and Jackson, a little push and shove, two former teammates of the Demons. Brayshaw has the free kick. Disposal number 25 coming up. The former AFL MVP kicks it up towards right half forward. Williams flew for the Eagles, couldn't mark. Yo, dispossessed. Tackle lingered, was unlucky not to get a whistle.
For a long time.
I think the umpire may have been just blindsided from behind when he spilt that ball. Ball ricocheted out of bounds. It'll be tossed in. 45 around from the Dockers' goal. Players stalking this contest. Fremantle lead by 15. Jackson and Williams go at it. Williams taps it down. Reid coming through the stoppage. Was going the wrong way. Took it cleanly though. Handballed into a dangerous area. Players flying in. 15 metres out from Fremantle's goal. Over the top is Sturt. He's tackled by two Eagles. Ball up. Reid came through with pace. He was going in the wrong direction. There was nothing helping coming the other way. Restart. As the umpire just clears the area, tosses it up in the air. Darcy taps it down. Young overran it. Brayshaw somehow in traffic, can't bend the banana around enough. They're peppering the goals, the Dockers. Another minus score, 11-8-74. The Eagles 9-4-58, and it is on. It is on, 20 metres out from goal. Reid, Brayshaw, Emmett, they're all involved. Now O'Meara and Cole going at it.
Free kick, I think, to Switkowski.
There is a free kick, as you said, Cara. Free kick has been paid. Now, if you're Fremantle, you want Sam Switkowski to go back, kick this goal before you reverse it. Because players are still chirping away at each other. Harley Reid is fired up. Sam Switkowski has the ball. He's 10 metres out, directly in front. He puts it through and he trash talks the Eagles. And it's on again in the derby. Players come from everywhere. Hunt's fighting his former teammate in Jackson. Top of the goal square, players go to ground. Players are flying all over the place. There is 25 players involved.
Wow.
Emmett's in there for the Dockers. Brayshaw's going at it. Now with Hunt, Darling comes in to separate. Tracy and Williams were going at it too. This is a derby. The crowd loves it. It's not quite the demolition derby from back in the day, but it's an understatement to say there's some spice in the game. The Dockers have extended their lead amidst all the drama. 12-8-80 Fremantle, 9-4-58 the Eagles. It's a 22-point margin as the Freo chant goes up around Perth Stadium. There's got to be some fines on Monday.
But there was no punching. There was
no.
Not that it was all just wrestling.
How could you tell?
Oh, it was 25. It was great.
That was fantastic.
The intensity is out there. It's great to see some emotion from West Coast.
Unfortunately, though, for the Eagles, they've conceded 5 goals this quarter. Reid gathered it off hands at the centre stoppage, and he's tackled strongly by Fremantle, as you would expect. The Dockers now lead by 22. Williams and Jackson. Reid charging after it. You can tell he's fired up. Here comes Liam Ryan out of the clearance for West Coast. His kick partially smothered. Edwards gathers on the wing. Gives it to Yo. Yo off to Kelly. Yo was put down after he handballed it. Kelly sends the Eagles inside forward 50. Darling takes the mark. He's just inside 50 and just inside the boundary line at right half forward. It'll take a tough kick from here, but West Coast need their spearhead, their goal kicker, their veteran goal kicker, to just steady the ship for them.
Their first mark inside forward 50 and really the only kind of look that they've had this quarter at scoring.
Right up against the fence, Jack Darling. He'll kick from the junction of 50 in the boundary line. Kick is on its way, and it's narrow. West Coast with their first score of the third term. They are 9-5-59, trailing Fremantle 12-8-80. It's a 21-point lead to the Dockers. 32 minutes gone in the third term here. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
This has been a remarkable quarter from the Dockers. Still a few seconds remaining. They have the ball in the left back pocket. Draper eventually called to play on. Kicks it high to the wing. Flying up was Jimby. Couldn't take the mark. Falls to Edwards. There's one more chance here for the Eagles. Kick inside the forward 50. Darling punches it away. Can they sneak a late goal? Reed collides with Darcy. Rides the contact. Runs into Sarong. Loses it. Tumbling ball towards the top of the square. The boundary. The siren beats the Eagles. What a quarter of footy we've had here in the Derby. What a 3 quarters of football. Derby 59 is absolutely delivering here at Perth Stadium. Don't go anywhere. Plenty more action to come. The Dockers kick 5 goals to 1 solitary behind in that third quarter. They trailed by 13 points at quarter time, 13 points at half time. They now lead by 21 points. The goal kickers for the Dockers, Jager O'Meara has 2. Michael Frederick leads all comers with 3. Sam Switkowski and Josh Tracy also have 2. Singles to Emmett, Amos and Brayshaw. For the Eagles, 2 goals to Liam Ryan and Jake Waterman. Singles to Kelly, Allen, Cripps, Petrocelli and Cully. Incredible quarter of football. We'll be back very shortly to get the thoughts from our experts here in the ABC Sport box. But don't go anywhere. Derby 59 is going down to the wire. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
ABC Country brings you Grassroots, the home of the latest, best and new independent country music from home and around the globe. Shining a light on the best contemporary and traditional country-fused music. From folk to blues, traditional to contemporary, bluegrass to bush ballads, and everything in between. Stream Grassroots from anywhere, anytime via the ABC Listen app.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Sam Switkowski from the set shot, drifts it left to right. Celebrates truly. He gets his first. The Dockers get the burst of the second half. They cut the margin back to 7 points.
Josh Tracy from 40 metres out, a slight angle to the right, and he puts the Purple Army back in front by a point.
Got it to Sarong. Kick over the top. The Dockers have got the numbers. Amos read it beautifully. Got to the ball. Takes the mark. Kicks inside to Frederick. They just regain the lead. Michael Frederick to extend it. Freddie's got 3. The Freo faithful have found their voice and they come from everywhere.
Tracy breaks the arc of 50, kicks on goal, and that is dead straight. Another goal for the Big Kahuna. That's his second. Freo have kicked the last 5 of the game.
It is on 20 metres out from goal. Reed, Brayshaw, Emmett, they're all involved. Now O'Meara and Cole going at it.
Free kick, I think, to Switkowski.
There is a free kick, as you said, Cara. Sam Switkowski has the ball. He's 10 metres out, directly in front. He puts it through and he trash talks the Eagles. And it's on again in the Derby.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
3/4 time in Derby 59 here at Perth Stadium between Fremantle and West Coast. The Dockers, after a big third quarter, kicking 5 unanswered goals, they lead the Eagles by 21 points. Mitch Turner here alongside Akash Fotodar on the ABC Sport commentary position. Our experts, former Eagle, former Collingwood Premiership player Sharad Wellingham, former Dockers captain and All-Australian Cara Antonio. It was a big third quarter and it'll be a big fourth quarter coming up.
It will be. I think really when you look at the stats and just watching the game, it was, and you spoke about this at the start, Shaz, the efficiency going inside forward 50. Dockers had 16 inside 50s. They took 7 marks that quarter and scored 5 goals, 5. So very high efficiency, whereas the Eagles, on the other hand, the 8 inside 50s, just the 1 mark and the 1 point. So I think that's there. I mean, again, Docker's going to work inside contest on top of clearances but it's their spread, I think, and their work rate that's getting them on top.
Yeah, and like I said during the quarter, it was the first time we really saw them link up and transition and move the ball the way we've kind of become accustomed to seeing over the last month or so. So I really anticipate that we'll see more of the same from Fremantle, and it'll just be a matter of West Coast, can they go and match the next level, and then we'll see a really tight contest.
I hope so.
So, the first half we saw a lot of stoppage, getting an inside forward 50 for both sides, but no real transition football.
Yeah.
Whereas that quarter we saw some transition football, and that probably will become more evident through the fatigue side of things as well. You're not going to be able to be as dynamic, so it's going to be working a bit harder out into space and utilising space. And we saw them retain the ball as well with the kick mark. Both sides have kind of employed that at different times throughout the game. But yeah, it's the transition, just that quarter, and allowing Fremantle to go inside 50 the way they want to.
Big fourth quarter coming up, and I'll tell you what, when the MRO decisions come out, it'll be a long list of financial sanctions handed out to both the Eagles and the Dockers for that melee. At the other game tonight, the Giants have defeated Melbourne by 2 points at the MCG. Geelong defeated North Melbourne earlier today. The Lions were victorious in the Q Clash, and St Kilda defeated Essendon as well. A cash flow to some quick stats coming up.
Yeah, the Fremantle prime movers really getting involved now. Andrew Brayshaw leads all comers with 26 disposals, and Caleb Sarong has 25, including 9 clearances as well. And for West Coast, Harley Reid 23 disposals, Elliot Yeo 22, and Tim Kelly also with 22.
The Boomers have won in Paris over Spain, 92-80 in the men's basketball at the Olympics. And the Vixens have downed the fever in the Super Netball to go through to a grand final against the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Fourth quarter, ready to get underway. The Dockers lead Derby 59 by 21 points. Here we go as Darcy goes up against Williams. Free kick called immediately from the umpire. It's going to Nat Fyfe for a hold. So the Dockers will get the first clean clearance. Out of the middle of the ground, Fyfe called to play on. Kicks a high up and under towards centre half forward. Tracy flew at it. Jimby came over and knocked the ball away. Down to Reid. His kick straight down the middle of the ground. Beautifully read by Luke Ryan. Gives the handball off for the Dockers. To the run of Clark. Nicely delivered out to the lead of Amos. Takes the mark. Kick and a half from home. Goes short to Emmett. Still 55 metres out. Eagles again flooding numbers back. Tom Emmett looking for a target. He spears it in low. And it goes straight to Bailey Williams, the Eagles ruckman. Getting back nicely behind the ball. He's had a quiet night possessions-wise. That's just number 6. His kick goes out to the wing. Big pack flies. Well done, Hutchinson, for the Eagles. Read it well. Got the handball off to Kelly. Kelly ran into trouble, though. The Dockers win it back. Brayshaw gathers. Immediately tackled. Ball up 60 metres out from Fremantle's attacking goal. They still lead by 21 points. No change, that three-quarter time score. 1 minute played.
Darcy with the tap. Wanted it to get Sarong. Managed to gather it himself. Now Clark sends Fremantle deep inside 50. Jackson leaps high from the back. But he had 3 Eagles to beat. And the West Coast defenders managed to knock the ball out of bounds in the right forward pocket for Fremantle. That lead for the Dockers, still 21 points. Almost 2 minutes played here in the final term of Derby 59. The umpire tosses it back in alongside the behind post. Williams disposes of Darcy, kicks up towards centre half back. Cole misses it. Banfield, he's disposed of by Darling, and he didn't have the ball, so a free kick to Bailey Banfield, 55 metres from home. Looks for some options, handballs off to Tracy, who is on his own. He launches from outside 50, and Josh Tracy absolutely nails the long-range shot. That's his third, and Fremantle continue on their merry way. They've extended the lead now to 27 points. 13-8, 86 to West Coast 9-5, 59. Your experts here on ABC Sport, Premiership Pie, Sharad Wellingham, AFLW All-Australian, Cara Antonio.
Oh, that's a beautiful kick. 3 steps. Gone through halfway up the post too. So he absolutely put some boot through the leather.
His 42nd goal for the season, Josh Tracy.
Oh, wow.
What a breakout season he's had. He's kicked 42-15.
Even just the manner where he, demanded Banfield give him the ball because he knew that he had the ability to just pump it through.
The Eagles were so desperate to flood back. Josh Tracy just stood his ground. Kicks the goal. Fremantle well on top here. Can the Eagles respond? 27-point margin. Ball back in the middle. Taken to ground immediately is Yo by Brayshaw. And once again, a little bit of push and shove. Tensions remain high. Bragging rights on the line for both sides and for Fremantle. A spot in the top 3. Darcy tapped it down over the head of Sarong. Players crashing in. Sarong went back and got it. Handball out to space. Looking for Sharp. Has Hutchinson for company. Tries to handball it out in front of himself. The boundary line comes and calls an end to that play. It'll be tossed in on the far side of the ground. Feel free to give us a text, 0437 774 774. James in Jurien Bay says, really enjoying the call. All back underway. Yo, handballed it to Williams. Oh, well done, Sarong. The kick was smothered. Sarong went and got it. Spun out of traffic. Got it to 5. Now to Emmett. Tries to kick over the top to a vacant goal square. Bodies collide and it rolls through. Emmett kicks the goal. He's got 2. And in just his second derby, Tom Emmett coming in for Michael Walters is playing his role. What an effort from Caleb Sarong.
That is unbelievable.
Smothered the ball in the wing, gathered it, spun, found a teammate, led to the goal. The Dockers 14, 8.92, the Eagles 9.5, 59. Wow.
That is something that, again, JR will be showing Monday review, that the ability to smother but then follow up clean and kind of spin out of traffic to create that handball receive. Fantastic. Did you pick something up, Shaz, on the goal line? You wanted a score review?
It was a pretty decent shove from
Jackson.
Jackson.
Okay.
Fremantle have kicked 7 goals to none since half-time and the last 8 of the match. Darcy wins the tap in the middle. Yo is able to rove it, but he's tackled immediately by Sarong.
Sarong has this medal tied up, doesn't he?
11 score involvements, 10 clearances.
This will be his 3rd.
The Dockers by 33 points. Hunt can only get the ball forward a couple of metres. Petrocelli gathers. He tumbles West Coast inside forward 50. Ball bounces off a sliding Waterman's chest. Hack forward. Ryan claims the mark. The umpire says not 15. Darling dives in after it. Cox gathers for Fremantle and they can clear defence. O'Meara tried to sell some candy. He was run down by Darling, but he got his handball away. Cripps fumbles in the right forward pocket. Finally gathers, shoots on goal, and it was nowhere near it. Misses narrow to the right-hand side, and West Coast with just their 2nd score of the second half, and it's another behind. They're 9-6-60, trailing Fremantle by 32 points, who are 14-8-92.
Ryan has the kick-in duties for the Dockers. Goes long out towards the half-back flank. Well done, Cole, though, for the Eagles. Read it well, cut it off. He has the ball. The man on the mark stands about 48 from home. Tom Cole likes something short, kicks and finds the target. Taking the mark in Cripps. It was a risky kick inside. It was a terrific mark from Jamie Cripps under pressure from Young. Cripps will go back, take the set shot. For goal number 2 as Josh Tracy, Nat 5, come to the bench and get a round of applause. Jamie Cripps. We are right behind the kick. An understatement to say the Eagles need this one. And Cripps can't deliver. It's a minor score. 9-7-61 the Eagles, 14-8-92 the Dockers. Bridget Lacey downstairs.
Fremantle just made their sub James Aish into the game, and it looks like Nat Fyfe is going to take a rest for the rest of the quarter. We've also got a crowd figure for today, guys. So it's actually a record home and away crowd for Fremantle, 56,536.
Wow.
Big home derby crowd for Fremantle. It's Wagner from the left back pocket, kicks high. Bailey J. Williams rises high and takes a good, strong grab for West Coast. At the attacking side of the wing, he kicks backwards to Harley Reid, who has it on the logo. And the boos tell you what the Fremantle fans think of West Coast #1 draft pick. Reid spots Hunt out wide at right half forward.
They've beaten their record attendance by 15 people.
There you go. Hunt wheels and goes, kicks it long to the hot spot. Can West Coast find a mark? They can! And it's Waterman! It's the man it's been all season long for West Coast. A shining light in what's been another dark season for the team in blue and gold. But Jake Waterman, rising in front of the pack, came from around the side and he takes the mark 25 metres out on a very slight angle to the right.
It's just a dangerous, well, it is a great spot to kick it. I really dislike when players feel like they've got to kick it to the top of the goal square. That position there, 25 out, is so dangerous because forwards can lead at the ball and you don't get scored against if it turns over.
Waterman to break a run of 8 straight goals for Fremantle, and he pops it through. It's his third of the night, and it keeps West Coast with just a little bit of a sniff in this contest. He reduces the margin to 25 points. West Coast 10-7-67, Fremantle 14-8-92. 9 minutes played in the final term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
He's just seeing the ball like a watermelon this year, isn't he? He's grabbing everything, strong hands. He's kicking beautifully. But that spot, I'd much prefer teams that attack that position on the ground.
I agree. It's easier to defend if it goes to the top of the goal square or just inside. Much harder when it's in that position.
Nat Fyfe being subbed off tactically means Harley Reid might get a bit of breathing space now. Fyfe's been around him with the stoppages in this second half. James Aish is into the middle. Umpire has another crack at the centre stoppage, throws the ball up in the air. Kelly just disposes of Aish, pushed him off the ball. Handball to forward to Luke Edwards. His kick inside the forward 50 is a terrific kick. Straight into the outstretched arms of Jack Williams. And maybe, just maybe, there is a pulse.
Beautiful one-on-one, Dick Kelly one coming out of that stoppage,
wasn't it? Too strong, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. He's against Aish, who's not, an inside mid, but still just executed it perfectly.
Absolutely. Not much you can do as a defender either when the ball's coming like that, straight in front.
Coming down at pace as well.
An important goal needed for Jack Williams. From the set shot, he puts it through and gives the Eagles some life. They have their 11th. He has his first. Jack Williams from the spot. 11-7-73, the Eagles. 14-8-92, the Dockers. The margin is back to 19 points. 11 minutes played in the final term.
Just pure strength there, as we said. Obviously, Aish having to go inside with Fyfe being subbed out, so whether or not they need to make a change and get a bigger body, maybe a mirror needs to go in there.
Push Aish back out onto the wing where he's played that role plenty of times.
So ball back in the middle, ready for the restart. As we welcome in our listeners from Victoria, Sydney and Canberra News Radio from the Melbourne and GWS game here to Perth Stadium. The Dockers are taking the ball out of the middle. They lead this derby by 19 points. They take it inside the forward 50. Brayshaw runs, takes a bounce, shakes the tackle, gives it a sweep. Sarong. He misses the kick, misses everything out of bounds on the full. The Dockers 14-8-92. They lead the Eagles 11-7-73. It's a 19-point margin, 12 minutes played in the fourth term. The Dockers kicked the first goal of the game through the boot of Andrew Brayshaw. The Eagles kick the next 3.
Edwards coming off the ground, I believe. Looked like he may have got a head knock.
They led for the best part of 2 quarters, did the Eagles, before a 5-goal third term from the Dockers took the game away. But back here at Perth Stadium, the Dockers have won it back.
And it's Walker who sends them inside 50, where he spots Sean Darcy in at right half forward, just inside the 50-metre line, just inside the boundary. At right half forward, Sean Darcy. Tom Cole, the man on the mark, about 45 metres out from goal. But it is on the good side for a left footer like Darcy. And he wheels around onto that left boot and just mongrels it towards the hot spot where Jinby gives away the free kick. He just disposed of Tom Emmett, shoved him 2 hands in the back, right in front of the umpire, and Emmett earns himself the free kick. And he is directly in front of goal, 30 metres out.
Emmett with a chance for his 3rd to join Frederick and Tracy with 3 for the Dockers. For the Eagles, Waterman leads them with 3 goals.
I don't know about that.
He's definitely
added some mayo
on it, but that's what a good forward craft is.
Here comes Emmett from 30 metres out. He pops it through. West Coast kicked a couple, and it looked like they were coming back into it. But Tom Emmett puts a little bit of a stop on the West Coast momentum and puts Fremantle back out by 25 points. The Dockers 15-8-98. West Coast 11-7-73. 13 minutes gone here in the final term. Let's head downstairs to Bridget Lacey.
Yeah, Sharad mentioned Luke Edwards came from the field with the Docs. He was in a fair bit of distress. He's still chatting to the doctors now and holding his head, so I would suggest he won't take any further part in this.
He's had a couple of concussions, Luke Edwards, I believe, in the past at AFL level, so a little concerning for the son of a gun. His father, Tyson, of course, a terrific career at the Crows. Ball back in the middle. It's been a spicy contest here in Derby 59. Jackson v Williams in the ruck. Jackson won it down. Kelly, though, sharked it for the Eagles. Gave it to Yo. His clearing kick out of the middle, looking for Darling. It was a downfield free kick paid. It was. He was disposed of it by Young. It was Elliot Yo after he kicked it. So the ball was about to tumble out of bounds. Darling's rewarded with a downfield free kick. From in between wing and half forward, kicks it long to the hot spot. Flying from the side was Allen, couldn't mark. Ball tumbles off hands out of bounds.
That change has been made as well. Aish out onto a wing and O'Meara started inside that centre bounce.
Record home and away crowd for a home game for the Dockers tonight. 56,536 in the house. Ball tossed in. Jackson tapped into space. Cripps was the first one there for the Eagles, though. And once again, the boundary beats them. They beat their old record, which was the Derby in 2018, which was 56,521. They've beaten it by 15 tonight, the Dockers fans. Ball spun back in. Jackson taps it down to Brayshaw. His kick over the head of Sturt. Jimby came through for West Coast, did well. His handball a little hot from Marrick. Sarong came and put him under pressure. The Eagle did well, though, in Marrick. Got it back, won it, gave it to Hunt. He has to backtrack to centre wing, and Cole gathers and kicks short. Marrick has the ball right in front of the interchange gates. 15 and a half played, final term. The Dockers lead by 25.
Marrick goes back into the centre square to Cole. Low pass, wanted the chest of Waterman. The umpire said play on. He wasn't infringed. Sarong spun in a tackle by Cole. Ball bounces back to Waterman, and he's tackled by Chapman. And the umpire will ball it up at centre half forward for West Coast, just inside the centre square.
Now it looks like Aish has got that job on on Reid, after Fife being removed from the game.
Wagner tries to clear the stoppage. Kick was partially smothered. Jackson, Reid dives in as well. Chapman now gathers. Jamie Cripps just mounts him in a tackle, and the umpire will ball it up again. West Coast have edged inside 50 now by a couple of metres. Be Jack Williams in the ruck up against Jackson. No clear winner. Yo just toe pokes it forward. Walker and Ryan wrestle for the football, and either can gather cleanly. And it's a bit of a rolling maul, but West Coast, in a somewhat successful rolling maul if you're a fan of rugby, have managed to get the ball closer to their line. Hutchinson and Walker acquaint themselves as they get up off the ground. Tossed up again. Jackson with a tap. Aish couldn't grab it. Williams does. Hutchinson, handball towards Marrick. Missed him. O'Meara now takes it and kicks it clear of the Dockers defensive 50. Tumbles it out towards the northern side of the ground. Jordan Clark gets there, and Darling runs him down, lays the clamps on him. He's not escaping that. Put the arm straight up in the air to Jack Darling, appealing for holding the ball.
No. When's the last time you saw a player with the arm up?
Mid-2000s.
Yeah.
Don't think Jordan Clark had any prior opportunity there, but a solid tackle from the Eagles forward. Ball thrown up at right half forward. Aish knocks it out towards Cripps. Marek on hands and knees. Jinby finally manages to pick it up. He gives it to Cripps. Shrugs off Jackson, but Fremantle have won the ball back. Clark, though, turns it over. Aish manages to recover the ball for Fremantle. Now to Walker, now to Brayshaw. They stream across half-back. Brayshaw's gone down behind the ball, but Sharp sends the Dockers inside 50 to Sarong. And Caleb Sarong takes the mark, 40 metres out, directly in front of goal. And Fremantle just took the ball inboard from that stoppage at half-back. And then, like a slingshot through the middle of Perth Stadium, Jeremy Sharp hit up Caleb Sarong, who has an opportunity to go back and kick his first goal of the night.
How was the Brayshaw handball to space? Out in front, didn't have to break stride. Obviously, Caleb Sarong resting forward with that mid-spit. Deserves a goal.
Here he comes, Sarong from just inside 50. And he sneaks it in! It's been a brilliant night for the Dockers midfielder. That's his 31st disposal, and now he adds his name to the score sheet as well. And Fremantle extend that lead now to 31 points. The Dockers, 16-8, 104. West Coast, 11-7, 73.
Is that the medal?
I think it might be.
Is that his third, Ross Glendenning Allen?
I think so.
It's been massive, hasn't he?
That's quite a success rate.
The 12 score involvements, 8 inside 50s, 10 clearances. I mean, Brayshaw's got very similar stats as well, so it'll be interesting.
I feel like Sarong's been a little bit more instrumental.
Yeah, more impactful.
He's got him for the clearances. 10 to Sarong, 4 to Brayshaw. The sun is up though, 16-8, 104 to 11-7, 73. Ball back in the middle, straight down into the path of Petruccelli, who's on report, we've learned, from an incident with Sean Darcy earlier. Ball tossed up again, Yo dispossessed by Young. Darcy won it into the path of Brayshaw. Out in front now of Banfield. Has to gather the tumbling ball on the wing. The Dockers through handball. Banfield back to Brayshaw. Back to Banfield. Now to Switkowski. Handball inside of the run of Clark. Yeah, Clark's handball misses Wagner. Has to go back and get it. Cox has it. Forward handball again for the Dockers. Clark finally sends it inside the forward 50. Over the head of all comers. Switkowski. Sturt tries to keep it in. Does so. Tapped it straight to the Eagles. And now West Coast might be able to clear it outside defensive 50. The kick goes towards Ryan. Punched away by Clark. Falls back in the arms of Ryan. Dispossessed. O'Meara. Handballs to Frederick. Now to A. She's centering ball, looking for a target. Two players going head-to-head. Switkowski and Yo. Tussle wrestling. Switkowski smother on Cole. Brilliant effort. The Eagles under pressure, deep in defence, and eventually it comes off hands.
That's exceptional.
Goes
Switkowski.
out of bounds.
West Coast had the release coming out of their defensive 50, and Petruccelli. That's a beautiful smother from Switkowski.
Ball up deep into Dockers attacking territory. They lead by 31.
Fremantle look like they're running on top of the ground, while West Coast definitely fatiguing. Williams and Darcy in the ruck. Hunt. Cole now fumbles. Switkowski applies pressure again for Fremantle. West Coast look to trap this ball in. Cole manages to handball out boundary side. Petruccelli gathers and just kicks a high ball, dumping it out of danger. Williams contests. That's Jack Williams for West Coast. But Walker gathers on ground level. Now to Draper. Now to Aish. Handballs inboard to Cox. To Brayshaw. To a running Jordan Clark. He chips inside 50 and Frederick takes the mark. He might just be a little bit too far out to score here, Michael Frederick. The man on the mark is effectively standing on the 50-metre arc.
Luke Ryan won't be if he slides forward into a dangerous position here.
Luke Ryan is just shimming his way inside forward 50. He's still completely unattended. But Michael Frederick, he's backing himself. He's already kicked 3 tonight. From 55, he kicks towards goal. It's right to the line. It's kept in by Tracy. He handballs back to Switkowski. A little bit too hot for him. Manages to reel it in. Gives it off to Banfield. Normally dangerous in this situation. High to the hot spot. Emmett can't mark. Gathered on ground level by Sturt. Sturt on the left. He snaps and he goes. That'll just about do it. Sam Sturt, his first of the night, has sealed Derby 59 for Fremantle. The umpires...
They're going to check the original shot on goal from Frederick, I would say.
Yeah, I was surprised that didn't.
I don't mind. We don't mind when they play it like this. This is what people want as we see the replay. I think it's okay. Josh Tracy has kept the ball alive. The whole ball has to be over the line, and it doesn't look like the whole ball is. Incredible play from Josh Tracy to keep it alive.
Review complete. Look at this angle. We can see the ball does not cross the behind line before being knocked back into play and kicked through for a goal. Decision on scoreboard.
So confirmation there that Josh Tracy did keep the ball in play, which means Sam Sturt's goal, his first of the night, will stand. And Fremantle now have made that lead 37 points. They are 17-8, 110 to West Coast 11-7, 73. We've played 23 and a half minutes here in the final term of Derby 59. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Your experts, Premiership Magpie, Sharrod Wellingham, AFLW All-Australian, Cara Antonio.
Just fight to the end here, isn't it? They've got to really... Percentage is going to play a big part, isn't it, this year? And so they've really got to make sure they fight it right to the end for the importance of percentage. But on the other side of the coin, West Coast have really got to continue to put in some fight. Sorry, Mitch.
Bridget Lacey downstairs quickly.
Corey Wagner's getting some isoplat to his right lower leg, so he's playing no further part.
The live ladder, Sharon, for your information. Fremantle will be equal with Brisbane on 50 points. They're behind by 2.1% of second spot. Play back underway in the middle. Looping handball over the top. Brayshaw tried to climb over the top of Yo. Lost it. The Eagles win it back. Petrocelli shows a little bit of pace. Tucks it under the arm. He kicks to Cripps, who slips over as the ball was coming. The Eagles had the numbers. The Dockers went out though. Chapman gave it a Sarong. Little shake and bake as he took possession. Feeds it out wide to Banfield, who finds Switkowski on the lead. Sarong had a fair break on the bench then, now back on the ground. That 5 subbed off tactically by the Dockers. James Aish into the game. Zane True off for the Eagles as Barris flies high. Couldn't take the mark in game 150. Got to his feet, was able to gather. Eagles have it back. Marrick looking for Hunt with his handball. Caught by Darcy. Got it away. Over the top to Kelly. Now Jimby to Reed. Running along the broadcast side. Gets the boos from the Dockers fans. Delivers a low spearing ball. Too hot for Allen. The Dockers win it back, and Chapman's kick was so bad it couldn't even go out of bounds on the full off the side of his boot. It dribbled. As the crowd figure officially goes up for the fans, 56,536. It is the highest ever home crowd for the Dockers. They lead 110 to 73. It's a 37-point margin as the ball's spun back in. Brayshaw tumbles a kick towards the boundary. That'll be insufficient intent. Umpire coming in. He pays it and the Eagles have the ball back.
Yeah, free kick to West Coast, attacking side of the wing. It's a record flashed up on the screen when the crowd number went up, and a big cheer from the 56,000 or so Purple faithful in attendance tonight. As Tom Barris takes the free kick, kicks West Coast into the right forward pocket. Kelly front and square, roves well. And off the outside of the boot, his shot on goal is narrow, just to behind. West Coast 11-8, 74, trailing Fremantle by 36 points. They're 17-8, 110. And we are in the dying stages of Derby 59 here on ABC Sport.
Ryan once again, kick out duties, as he often does. Takes a little stroll out of the defensive goal square. Kick long to a pack on the wing. Tracy Flew knocked away from him. Petrocelli punched it forward as well. Comes to Reed. Runs the 45. Kicks on goal under pressure. Can't get it back online. It's been an interesting night for Harley Reid. It's a minor score. The Eagles go to 11-9, 75. The Dockers 17-8, 110. He has had a pretty good night, Harley Reid. 28 touches, 4 tackles, 10 clearances, 6 score involvements. He's fought hard. He can hold his head high for the Eagles.
Aish just dropped the ball after he received the kick in about 20 metres out from his own goal, and his long kick Up the wing is intercepted by Cole. Handballs off to Liam Ryan. Chips forward to left half forward. Running onto it is Brady Hoff for West Coast. Wheels and goes. Wants to send it in deep and get it in quick. Jack Williams out of position. Waterman at the front couldn't mark. Reed went high as well. Fremantle gathered the ball at ground level. Josh Draper with just a high clearing kick. Amos got there. Didn't really have any competition for the ball, but went to the fist anyway. And West Coast, through hands, managed to knock it back inside 50. And Jai Cully escorts the ball out of bounds for a throw-in at left half forward, just inside the 50 for West Coast.
They're exhausted, aren't they, these two teams?
Yeah.
They are gassed. This has been a really fast-paced, tough game.
From the throw-in, Darcy with the tap. Petruccelli burst through the front of the stoppage. Handball's out in front of himself. Has Aish for company. James Aish applies enough pressure to see Petruccelli back over the boundary line for another throw-in. Fremantle still leading by 35 points. 28 minutes played in Derby 59. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Tired bodies all over the field. Ball spun back in. Williams tapped it down to Cripps, who was bursting through. Tackled by Banfield. Freo chance slowly working its way around. Starting to gain some momentum. Ball tossed up. Williams knocked it down. Straight to the Dockers, though. Banfield comes away with it. Handball's off to Ryan. He feeds the handball wide up to Caleb Sarong. Another possession for him. Kicks up the wing. Flying in from behind was Rotham. Couldn't take the mark, and the ball spills out of bounds for a boundary throw in. Caleb Sarong up to 32 now. Andrew Brayshaw has 35. Tim Kelly has kicked over the 30 mark for the Eagles as well. Ball will get spun back in. Sean Darcy's had 47 hit-outs. Make that 48 as the ball comes down. Williams sharked it though off the restart. Gave it to Tim Kelly. The Eagles tumble one to half forward. Cripps' handball was a little too clever for Marek. Missed the target. Banfield gathers for the Dockers. Nice little delayed give to Clark. Free kick for a late hit on Banfield. Clark takes the advantage. Couple of running bounces down the wing. Now kicks high under pressure up towards Frederick. And the pressure made the difference. And it's out of bounds on the full. So the Eagles win the ball back, and Ruben Jimby, hunched over, has the ball in his hands between wing and half back.
Still plenty of run in Jordan Clark's legs as Jimby kicks high down the line. Through the hands of Jack Williams and Jack Darling. Chapman on ground level for West Coast. Reed gets it, tries to break a tackle. Couple of Dockers grab him. Now Kelly. Back to Bailey J. Williams. Back to Cole. Shows the ball to Sturt, then moves forward. Kick just too hot for Hutchinson. Makes him stretch for it. Hutchinson does well. Taps it past Banfield. Keeps the ball going West Coast way. On hands and knees, Allen. But Fremantle win it back across full back, and it's Brandon Walker with a bounce to Aish. Back to Walker. Breaks defensive 50 now. Kicks up towards Frederick in a one-on-one with Barris. And the 150 gamer for West Coast. Just a bit too big and strong there for Michael Frederick. Takes the intercept mark. Defensive side of the wing on the southern side of the ground for West Coast.
Harley Reid, career high, 29 disposals tonight. Barris chips the ball sideways to Rotham, and they really are just ticking the seconds down, some of these players. Rotham plays on, kicks it up towards the front edge of the centre square. Players fly Aish. He's got some fresh legs, the sub. Took it away from the contest for the Dockers. Kicked it up once again towards Frederick and Barris takes the intercept mark. Can never question his effort, Tom Barris, as he's called to play on. Was under pressure, was able to find the kick wide in Cully. Goes further afield to Ryan. Plays on, kicks it inside, and it's over the head of Cripps.
It's been two of the last forward forays that have been badly read by the player in front of the ball for West Coast.
Clark takes the mark and chips it wide to Draper. As Michael Frederick gets a little applause as he comes to the bench. Aish takes the mark under pressure from Ryan, who met him with some contact, and maybe just a little apology from the Eagles premiership player. James Aish kicks it now up the wing, looking for a target. Williams coming the other way for the Eagles. Bailey J takes the mark, will send them back inside 50, looking for a target. Allen is there, flying, so too two Dockers. It spills off hands. Allen almost took it. He and Cripps got tied up together. Aish gathered it. Gave it to Chapman, who goes short to Ryan. Chip out to the left Banfield marks it. Chips over the top to Clark at left half. That may have been the last scoring foray for either side, as they're pretty content to run the seconds down. Andrew Brayshaw fittingly has the ball right now. He picks up disposal number 36. The Freo chant rings around. A record crowd here for the Dockers. And for Freo, it's revenge against the arch rivals. It's Derby delight as they move up into the top 3 on the AFL ladder. Winners by 35 points. Fremantle winners in Derby 59. They take the 4 points against the Eagles for the 26th time in their history. 17-8, 110 the Dockers, 11-9, 75 in front of 56,536 fans. The highest home crowd Fremantle has played in front of in a home and away game. The goal kickers for the Dockers, 3 to Emmett, 3 to Frederick, 3 to Tracy, 2 to O'Meara and Switkowski, singles to Brayshaw, Sturt, Sarong. For the Dockers, the Eagles, 3 to Waterman, 2 to Ryan, 1 to Kelly, Allen, Cripps, Petrocelli, Williams and Cully. There won't be any deja vu for the Dockers. They take the bragging rights again. Mitch Turner here for ABC Sport. Akash Spodadar alongside me. Our experts, Cara Antonio and Sharad Wellingham. What an exciting night at the footy here in Perth.
Yeah, very exciting. A derby of old. And, it was the outcome that I think most people thought would eventuate. But it was a great fight from the West Coast Eagles. And I think that they definitely didn't lower their colours throughout any stage, really. First half definitely felt like Fremantle were just almost in like second gear.
Yeah.
And came out and went third, fourth, and took it to the level that they probably needed to get the win, because West Coast were up and about.
They were good, weren't they? They started so strong, and to their credit, they again probably just missed opportunities in that third quarter. Really, had a number of inside 50s that they could have eventuated to scoring opportunities, but the back line of Fremantle were just too strong, held up, and were able to pinball and I suppose transition the ball back into their own forward 50, and they hit the scoreboard a number of times, which was really the difference, I think, in the game. That third quarter broke open, and number of spot fires, which I just watched the replay back. Be a number of fines handed out, no doubt.
But everybody's having a chat and shaking hands and having a good time after the game, and that's what I reckon football or sport should be. You go out there and give it absolutely everything, and it should mean a lot to you while you're out there. But as soon as the final siren goes, it's we can't anymore. You don't go to the social room and have a beer, but you go and chat about it and how enjoyable that blood, sweat and tears was out there. So I think it's a great sign.
The Eagles led for 70 minutes. The Dockers led for 54. The Dockers come out with a 35-point win. We will go down for the presentation very, very shortly. The Derby Trophy and the Ross Glendenning Allen Medal
So is it Brayshaw or Sarong?
It's a hard one, I reckon.
Come on.
Hard to split them. I think they'll go Sarong.
Splinters on the fence, you two.
All right, I'll go Brayshaw just to,
you're swinging it down the middle.
Yeah.
Tiebreaker, I'll go Sarong.
Okay.
We'll get down there in just a moment, then we'll get to the rooms as well. The Dockers song, and for an interview, Bridget Lacey will be down there waiting for the Dockers song to finish.
A big thing to come out of this, I think, will be the process for Sean Darcy as well.
Absolutely.
Both teams gathering on the wing as we await the official presentation of the trophy and the medal. Waiting for the staff. We'll go down to ground MC now.
Here tonight for Saturday night under lights at Optus Stadium. Congratulations again to the Fremantle Dockers and also you, the attending people, for setting a brand new Dockers home games attendance record of 56,536 people tonight. Big thank you as well, RAC, for your support of this great rivalry. The RAC are passionate advocates for road safety, and the RAC Derby is an example of how partnerships can be used to drive important community outcomes. Before we present the RAC trophy to the winning team, we'll now award the Glendenning Allen Medal. The voters for tonight are, from TV Media, Ryan Daniels, from Print Media, Eliza Riley, and from Radio Media, Scott Cummings. And I'd like to welcome Ben Allen to present the Glendenning Allen Medal for the RAC Derby 59. The winner of the Glendenning Allen Medal with 9 votes from the Fremantle Dockers, Sarong Sarong, Caleb Sarong!
Third Ross Glendenning Allen Medal for Caleb Sarong. 32 disposals, 10 clearances, 12 score involvements, and a goal. He's having an incredible year. Let's hear from him now.
First of all, thanks West Coast. I know it's been a tough year for you guys, but it doesn't matter. Derbies are different, and we know you guys always turn it up. We saw that at the start of the year, so well done. We appreciate the battles. Good luck for the rest of the year. How good's this? We love the support. We know you guys turn out in big numbers. Keep turning up for us. Hopefully something special around the corner. Thanks, lads. Let's keep building.
The win tonight puts the Dockers into 3rd spot on the ladder as of tonight. And we would now like to invite the RAC President, Alan Blaggage, to present the RAC Derby Trophy to your Fremantle Dockers!
Andrew Brayshaw receiving the trophy, acting captain today.
Firstly, thanks to West Coast. Yeah, it's a great battle every time we play you guys. Good luck for the rest of the year. Thanks to the fans for showing out, and well done, boys. Cheers.
Brayshaw collects the Derby trophy and takes it back to his teammates. Captain tonight in the absence of Alex Pearce.
Once again, big thank you to our Purple Army for showing up loud and proud. Don't forget, get along to our next home game. We'll see you Saturday, August 10, when we take on the Cats for Retro Round. Get your tickets now.
Incredible effort by the Dockers, by Caleb Sarong. A 3rd Ross Glendenning Allen medal for the Dockers midfielder. Incredible year. The Dockers Derby 59 winners by 35 points. They pose for the photos with the trophy. We will get down into the rooms with Bridget Lacey to hear the song and hopefully have a chat to one of the players and hopefully get inside the Eagles rooms as well with the cash photo who's run down there.
West Coast boys setting up a little guard of honour for Tommy Barras to be chaired off by Oscar Allen and Joshy Rotham.
He is one of the most loved players in that football club, you'd say, Sharad?
Yeah.
Tommy Barras?
Definitely. Well respected, hard working, well connected emotionally to the group, and has a lot of care, and that's evident by how much everyone does appreciate him.
150 games in the AFL for Tom Barras. You're now inviting Jake Waterman to walk up alongside him in game 100. The first Eagles father-son to have played 100 games. An incredible achievement for both of those. The Eagles, as I said before, they led for large portions of the night. They led for 70 minutes and 25 seconds. The Dockers led for 53 minutes and 50 seconds. But they led when it mattered.
Yeah,
that was when the final siren went.
Only one time when it matters.
They got out by 20 points in the second term, the Eagles. They really controlled probably the middle part of the game until the third quarter, where the Dockers exploded.
Do you know what I'm really impressed by with Freo is the way they are using Fife.
Yeah.
I think it's really smart, really respectful. He's obviously not the player he once was, but he brings a lot to the team still when he can contribute a lot to the team still. So, playing him in a way that he can contribute, but doesn't have to be the Nat Fife of old. It's really smart.
Still had 18 touches, 5 clearances, 6 score involvements, and a few inside 50s.
Well, a lot of those
still damaging at times.
Yeah, and a lot of those are handballs. I think he had 12 handballs, but I think we mentioned it a number of weeks ago when he kind of went inside, and you could see that he's such a strong body that he's able to win that hard ball and then get the handball out to the outer, I suppose, bubble and free up your Sarongs, your Brayshaws, your Youngs to get on the end of it, because he knows his strength and he knows obviously his areas that he's not strong in, and he's been able to really, I suppose, dial into that this season and been really effective. So probably a really smart sub as well for them to bring Aish on at that time and get a bit of an extra run and give him a break ahead of I think they've got 7 days before they head over and play Essendon.
Essendon next for the Dockers. Their run home, Essendon away, then Geelong at home. They travel to over east again to face the Giants, and then Port Adelaide back here at Perth again. So some winnable games there.
You'd
but also
expect
some
all
tough
of them
challenges.
winnable, aren't they?
I mean, GWS away will be a very tough challenge, the way they're playing. Another win tonight for the Giants, 2 points over the Demons. Port Adelaide looking pretty good last night. Essendon are stumbling, and they'll be desperate next week, the Bombers, because they need something, because they are drifting and sliding down the ladder.
They've slid.
The other scores today: Geelong 106 defeated North Melbourne 66. Brisbane Lions 93 won the Q Clash over the Suns 65, so a 28-point margin there. A 53-point margin the way of the Saints over the Bombers, and as I mentioned, 85-83 the Giants over the Demons. The Dockers making their way down through the fans towards the rooms. Pretty good time probably to head down to Bridget Lacey to gather some of the reaction from what was a big derby win. Bridge?
Yeah, thanks, Mitch. As you'd expect, it's a huge crowd in here tonight after a home derby win. Loads of family and friends are packed in here tonight to cheer on the boys, and they look very satisfied as they've wandered in. Just circling up now. There you have it. The skipper, Alex Pearce, just squeezed past me with the cast on his arm and a little notebook and pen. I wonder what he wrote down tonight. Nat Fife should be joining us shortly.
Nat Fife, we just spoke about him. Maybe they heard that
there you go.
Cara and Sharon, you were saying such nice things about the former captain and the two-time Brownlow medalist. We might get some reaction from the Eagles rooms as well if we have time to do so. Cash Fodor has thrown the headset off and run down there to try and get us a player. The Eagles, just for what it's worth, they're following 4 games coming up. They face the Suns here, so very strong at home, the Suns, but not quite on the road, although they did lose at home today to the Lions. They face North Melbourne away, Carlton here, then Geelong in Geelong for the last game of the season, which I don't think any Eagles fan is looking forward to. It's been an ugly one in the past.
That could be
ugly.
The ladder, the way it looks after that game, the Swans on top with 56 points. So Brisbane on 50 points, 12 wins, 6 losses and a draw. Their percentage is 120.1. The Dockers, they're on 50 points. Their percentage, they're back by 2.3 from the Lions. Sorry.
Oh, wow.
So both on 50 points, separated by percentage. Carlton down to 4th. Equal points with the Giants, the Cats and Port, who are in 7th. Essendon 6 points back of 7th in 8th now. They've gone from 2nd to 8th in the last month of footy.
I don't think they make finals.
Well, they're only 2 points clear of the Dogs, Melbourne and Hawthorn, who are sit 9th, 10th and 11th, all
Dogs play tomorrow,
40 points as well. So the Dogs can knock the Bombers out tomorrow in their game as well. They face the Swans, though, at the SCG.
Tough ask.
That is a tough task.
But you just never know with this season.
Hope. Well, they're playing some very good football. Are the Western Bulldogs. So, incredibly tight.
Hawthorn could potentially win over Adelaide and still knock them out.
Exactly. But then Adelaide could be. It's a very hard year to pick.
It's a tough one.
It's a very hard year. We will get the votes from yourselves a little bit later on. You'll have to agree on it because, for the sake of argument, Cara went 3.
Well, I only
Brayshaw
did that
initially
for
the medal, and Shaz, you went 3.
But
so whoever gets the final say, you work it out between yourselves and figure it out. There's only 3.
But it's been decided.
There's only a 3-2-1 tonight as well, because we no longer give votes to both teams in the Derby because they lost to the other team. So it doesn't
makes sense.
It doesn't feel right that you can be the 4th best player on the ground against the Dockers or against the Eagles and win the Jeff Christian medal by jumping over the top. So some of the stats as well. Andrew Brayshaw, 36 touches. Caleb Sarong had 32. Both kicked a goal. 10 clearances for Sarong. 5 clearances for Brayshaw. Jordan Clark had 24 touches. Jager O'Meara and Hayden Young both had 20 disposals as well. O'Meara with 2 goals. One of his better games for the club, I would have thought. For the Eagles, Tim Kelly, 32 touches, 5 clearances, a goal to his name. Harley Reid, a career high, 29 touches and 10 clearances. Certainly tried hard all night. Yo and Cole both had 26 disposals as well. Some of the team stats, the key stats we're looking at here. The tackle count, Fremantle 64, West Coast 60. The hit-outs, 65 to 37. The way of the Dockers, the clearances, 45 to 37. The way of the Dockers, the inside 50s, 53 to 45. Fremantle's way, and the marks inside 50, 17 to 7 as well. The way of the Dockers. At half-time, they were sitting precariously the game. 13-point margin to the Eagles. Cara and Shazzy both sat there and said the Dockers need to use the ball better going inside the forward 50, and we wondered if West Coast could sustain the pressure. I guess we got a couple of those answers in the second half.
Yeah, well, I think we mentioned at 3/4 time, Dockers just how clean they were and their efficiency going inside forward 50. I think they had 7 marks inside forward 50 for the third quarter and were able to score, I think it was 5 goals. 5. So just made the most of it going forward, whereas the Eagles just couldn't connect at the other end. They had the 1 mark to Darling, which was hemmed up against the boundary. So just made the most of their opportunities in that third quarter, and really that was, I think, the difference in the end. The Eagles, to their credit, they stayed in it. There was the physicality, the intent, the energy, you can't question that for the 4 quarters. Just couldn't hit the scoreboard. And that's, at the end of the day, where it matters the most.
Should we get the votes now? Because we're hoping to go down to chat to Nat 5 very shortly with Bridget Lacey, or one of the Dockers players at least. So you ready to give the 3-2-1 in the ABC Footballer and Jeff Christian medal?
Yep. So we've gone the 1 with Josh Tracy. Thought just his ability to come up the ground, but also take marks inside forward 50 and hit the scoreboard with the 3. He was really good tonight. We've gone the 2 with Andy Brayshaw with the 36 touches, 14 score involvements, and he hit the scoreboard himself. And then obviously the 3 to Caleb Sarong.
So 1 to Josh Tracy, 2 to Andrew Brayshaw 3. Of Sarong, which I mentioned about him during the broadcast. That is now his 10th straight game with 20 disposals or more. He ties Jackson McRae of the Bulldogs for the all-time record of most consecutive games with 20-plus disposals with 70 there. So
is he leading the Brownlow at the moment, you reckon?
Sarong, very good start to the year, a little quieter through the middle to like maybe Hayden Young and co. It's how hard's it to pick?
Oh, so hard. So hard.
Patrick Cripps has had an incredible 6 weeks.
He has, and I think the fact that Cripps is, jump on my shoulders type performances, whereas the other guys, the 3 stars at Sydney, they're all kind of just, pinching votes off each other.
Does Merritt poll well for Essendon that first half of the year with the winning lots of games?
I think it's Bontempelli, Cripps, Neil.
Heaney's start of the year, he could get out to a lead early. Yeah. It's had an incredible start.
It's going to be an interesting one.
Can't win it.
Lockie Neal's form, as we mentioned, he could win a third Brownlow medal. I heard 3 different coaches this week in their press conferences say, well, he's leading the Brownlow medal, about 3 different players. So Jared Schofield, I believe, said it about Caleb Sarong.
Tonight, yeah.
Said he's leading the Brownlow. Ken Hinkley last night said Patrick Cripps is leading the Brownlow. And I believe in Damien Hardwick's press conference the other day, he said Lockie Neal's probably leading the Brownlow. So the coaches can't decide. Well, they're just trying to talk up their opposition to let everyone know it's going to be a little harder.
I think Cripps, Lockie Neal, and Bontempelli.
Yep,
it's out of those 3.
Yep. Terrific choices. All 3 of those players would be deserving Brownlow medalists. Hopefully Bontempelli for the sake that he gets one, because he hasn't got one.
The other 2 I love Bontempelli.
It'd be great to see him finish his career.
If
the Brownlow.
Another 4 games. Is there 4 games left?
Yes.
Another 4 games for Sarong, we figured.
Oh no, certainly. He polled well last year. Was ineligible, but he did poll well. He was ineligible last year, and he told us on Sports Talk his partner was not happy with him
because he couldn't go.
She was all ready to go to the Brownlow, and she was like, "Yes, I get to go. You've had a good year," and then. He got himself suspended for a dangerous tackle, and he had to break the news that, don't hire the dress. The Dockers, winners here in Derby, 59, 17-8, 110 to the Eagles, 11-9, 75, a 35-point margin to get some revenge back on the Eagles after they beat them in round 6 in the Derby by 37 points. The way it played out, the Dockers kicked the first goal through Andrew Brayshaw, then the Eagles hit back in the 9th minute to level the scores, and they led for a long time after that, the Eagles. From the 9th minute in the first quarter, they led all the way until the 14th minute of the 3rd before they wrestled back the game, the Dockers, and really ran away with it, kicking in the second half. What do they kick? The Eagles kicked just 2 goals in the second half. The Dockers kicked 10. So an incredibly one-sided affair. We are hoping to get down into the Dockers' rooms to chat to one of the players. Bridget Lacey is standing by down there. Hopefully we get some reaction from them.
What do you make of the tussle?
The push and shove.
The push and shove.
I like it.
But are they going to throw a lot of fines?
Oh yeah,
the AFL's little piggy bank just got a lot fatter than it already was. There was, I would say, minimum 20 involved.
I feel like
if there's 36 on the field, there was certainly less than 10.
But what level of involvement?
I think as soon as you go in and start grabbing someone, you're done.
What if you're like grabbing your own teammate, trying to pull them away?
I've seen players fined for it in the past as well.
Really?
Yes. They don't want you to go in there at all.
They
go, the less people that go in, the less it can escalate for everyone. So we're not far away from getting down to the Fremantle rooms, but they'll certainly.
I feel like I think it was Draper and Chapman with the smart one standing in the centre of the ground, and I reckon everyone else was in.
Yeah, the 2 youngsters who can't afford
it.
The money.
That's half their match payment.
Exactly. So maybe a little smarter, but it was good to see a little bit of the old Derby.
Absolutely.
Derby rivalry back. I believe we might be ready to go downstairs. Bridget Lacey is just, I think, throwing the headset on one of the Dockers players down there. You've got him, Bridge. We come down to you now.
Yeah, lucky enough to have Nat Fyfe join us after a Derby win. And Nat, I read during the week, is this right? Your first Derby win since 2015. Wow.
It is. I was starting to think that I was a bit of a curse there for a while, and the first half had some signs. But yeah, first Derby win in a long time, and nice to be on the winning side for once.
Geez, it was like a derby of old. So much in it. West Coast were up for it, and you guys had to bring your best in the end, and there was an all-in melee. You were actually on the bench at that point, so lucky for you, you're probably not going to lose too much cash.
Well, I think I clipped an umpire at one point too, so I'll still get done for that. But no, they came to play. They came out the front door a lot. They used the corridor. They've got some excitement machines in their team that we probably didn't quite get our defensive structure right, and yeah, it took some adjustments for us after half-time for us to really get our game going and start to look the way that we want it to look, and ultimately I thought it was a professional effort to close out the game in the way we want to.
Did you have a role specifically on Harley Reid, or was it more nuanced than that?
We'll say it was more nuanced, yeah. We, as a unit, as a midfield, we like to be complementary and everyone play different roles at different times. I had a bit more of a focus in that third quarter, which is good. Getting while he was a bit worn out. It's a smarter way of doing things, but yeah, I thought our midfield got going a bit better after half-time.
I mean, he's a precocious young talent, so were you. What do you make of him at that age, sort of how much he's sort of bringing to the game at this point in time? He seems to have already changed derbies for the better.
Certainly has. I think he's a wonderful talent and he's an entertainer and he's doing great things for WA footy, and I wish him all the best. And yeah, keep bringing the best of what he can offer, because he's got some genuine power out there and brings people into the game, and that's what we're here for, to entertain.
I'll send you upstairs for some more questions.
Nat Sharrett here, mate. Congratulations on the win. What did you identify at half-time, and what did you have to change? Because it was definitely a different look through that second half.
Yeah, Sharrett, I thought the main thing was we were fighting our own battles a bit, and it's a term that gets thrown around a lot in footy, but there are some levers we can pull to make sure that we're focusing more on system than individual battles, particularly in the midfield. And once we started to get more on the same page and worry more about how the game looked as opposed to how we were walking out or getting walked out of at stoppage, it started to play it more in our front half. So it was more about a team focus, get out of your own bubble, start focusing on what you can do to help the guy next to you. And
the big Cyclone, JT, I was going to call him Cyclone Tracy, but he doesn't like that one, does he? It's JT. Talk to us about him, mate. We're been on him all year. His development's been incredible. Is the ceiling for him even further? What's his game going to look like in 2 years' time?
Yeah, I don't want to put too much pressure on him because he is big key forward and they take some time to develop. But what we're seeing in games now is what we've always known for a long time, is that his best is scary, and the way he connects our group now, he's only a young man, but his leadership, his presence that he brings, the way that he wants to get people involved, he's got a real compassionate eye for things. So, yeah, his future is going to be certainly exciting for me to watch from the sidelines for many years to come. But at the moment, what he's doing from a connection and leadership point of view is just as impressive as his finishing on goal.
He really does seem to have that, you've hit the nail on the head for me because we can see it. But for you to kind of verbalise it is really cool. He does seem to have a real connection with everybody and loves getting everybody up and about. I saw him at one stage run from forward 50 to someone who was going back to the centre square to congratulate him on his goal. It's a really impressive young man that we're seeing grow.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got a good eye for those sorts of things, of how can he generate energy and make sure people are all involved. That sort of country football, full forward, last bloke in the sheds type guy. So we absolutely love him. He's been taught well.
Nat, Cara here, congratulations on the win. Obviously playing a little bit of a different role with your body, obviously a lot better than last year. Have you got the best seat in the house running around, and I suppose with Sarong, Brayshaw and Young in that midfield group?
Yeah, I think you've summed it up pretty well. I get to watch those guys as well as Luke Jackson, Sean Darcy, do their thing, and they're really impressive. And a lot of the time I feel like I just got to get out of the way. So I'm loving working with those guys, and there are moments when that I feel like they just take the game away from other teams, and there are moments that we've still got some immaturity that we've got to work on. So I love the way that we're gelling. We're well coached by Joel Corey, and we've still got some development. Yeah, you're dead right, though. They're incredible talents. We're lucky to have them.
Now, we spoke about it pre-game, Shaz and I, about derbies and how they're different. Sarong made mention of it in his acceptance speech of the medal. What do derbies mean to you, and are they different, or are they just another game?
Oh, well, I haven't won one in a decade, so I don't know what it is. There's just some magic in the air when it comes to derbies, that the ladder is irrelevant, form lines are irrelevant. West Coast have had a change of coach recently, so there's just some unknown about their team, and we can mentally prepare as well as we like, and just who knows what happens at the start of the game. So I think that's, from an entertainment point of view, it's good watching. But yeah, nice personally to be on the winning side for the first time in a long time.
Mitch Turner here in the commentary box. We're chatting to Fremantle's Nat 5 down in the rooms after a Derby 59 win over the Eagles. Nat, a couple of your teammates have been, well, open, and Mickey Barlow, I heard during the week, said it's got 2013 vibes, this Fremantle side, but you play a bit different to 2013. It's fast, it's exciting. Does it feel like 2013 with a bit more edge?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to compare, but 2013, I guess the energy of getting towards the back end of the year and things starting to gel, getting some external expectation and acknowledgement as well as a good feeling within. Yeah, there's some similarities, but there's about 8 or 9 teams I reckon have got the same feel about them. So we'll focus on what we can do. I'm enjoying being a part of it. We'll keep trying to keep the guys focused on the next step in front of them, but certainly I think we've got cause to continue to build that excitement within, because the future of this year is really in our hands from here.
We've spoken to you, and now, Sherry, you want to go?
Just on that, like when you kind of break down the season and look at it so focusing on each week and not trying to get caught up, do you think that there's a chance that you miss the ride and you don't enjoy the ride?
I think there is that possibility, and maybe that's the price. Maybe that's the price of the results you want to get or success. But certainly as an older player, like I've been around enough times to treasure now every single game, because it could be one of my last, could be my last Derby, who knows. So yeah, I mean, there are parts of it that unfortunately you can't just be smelling the roses and enjoying every part of it, because that's the price of greatness potentially. But yeah, from my point of view as an older player, maybe I get to enjoy it a bit more, but a process-driven organisation has to focus on the job at hand.
Nat, your ears must have pricked up, because Cara and Sharon were singing your praises from the box after the game for the role you played in the middle tonight. They couldn't get enough of the job you were doing around the stoppages. Congratulations on the win. Enjoy your first Derby win in about a decade, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks very much, guys.
Fremantle's Nat 5 down there in the rooms. Victoria, it's been a long time since he's played in a winning Derby. He's missed a lot of football through injury, but Nat 5 has played 19 games this season. An incredible effort for the Dockers.
How many did he play last year?
I'll double check exactly how many he played last year. Nat 5, give me 2 seconds. In 2023, he played 9. In 2022, he played 7. It's the most games he's played since 2019.
I don't think...
He played more this year than he did over the last 2 years.
Yep, combined.
I don't think as well, I could be completely wrong, but I don't reckon he ever captained a Derby win either.
Oh, now you are really testing me, Cara. I'm going to have to look into that one.
Yeah, look into that.
It's a great call by you, because
which he'd hate.
Did miss a lot of football.
He would hate me saying, but I'm pretty sure, because he was injured for a big chunk of that.
And during his time as captain, the Eagles had a much stronger side as well, obviously with the premiership and a couple of deep finals appearances. Final thoughts, Cara and Sharad, as we wrap up Derby 59. What does it mean for Freo? What does it mean for West Coast? We've got about a minute left.
Yeah, I think it was, the result we expected. We saw a great game with a lot of emotion, and it was a Derby of old, and it was great to see. And Fremantle ticked the box. West Coast don't have to go away licking wounds, but they'll be reasonably proud of the way they performed.
Yeah, really enjoyable game of footy. I wish we had that kind of spectacle every weekend here at Perth Stadium. But, yeah, they've set themselves up for a good, 3 or 4 games left, the Dockers. And, again, Eagles can be proud of the effort, the intent and their energy that they brought and into the back couple of games.
The Dockers winners in Derby 59 by 35 points over the Eagles. They're up into 3rd spot on the ladder. The other results today, Geelong defeated North Melbourne, the Lions defeated the Suns, St Kilda defeated Essendon, and GWS defeated the Demons. And for those playing at home as well, the Melbourne Vixens have defeated the Fever in the Super Netball. They're through to the grand final against the Adelaide Thunderbirds. And the Aussie Boomers, the men's basketballers at the Olympics, they got the win over Spain. For all of us here in ABC Sport Team in Perth, bye for now. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.